Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and good evening. Does Africa control its resources? Who has more bank, FBAs or West Africa? That's the question of the day. There's a little known fact that California, or the Ninth Circuit, has more money than India. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that the state of California has more money than the whole country of India? That's a fact. Look it up. Fact check me, if you will. So a question was begged today. Do FBAs have more money than West Africa? Well, if you want to look at resources, the answer is no. But then the question becomes, does Africa control its resources? I'm going to say no. So given that fact, I think FBAs have more money than West Africa. What you think, Onthespotts?
Yes, they do. Oh, you want more?
End of show.
End of show. I couldn't really believe it, but yes, like you said, California has more money than India, and Black Americans, they have more money than Sub-Saharan Africa, and they definitely have more money than Nigeria and these places. And I realized today I was speaking with someone, and he slipped up and said that the reason we keep being targeted by these other groups is because we're trustworthy. Now, see, they can't do business with each other because they're not trustworthy. Remember, when we go over there, we need an intermediary or somebody who's going to help us with all of the problems that they're going to present to us by trying to rip us off. They always have some middleman, and you've got to pay that guy to make the other people act right, in essence. Um, we're one of the few people on the planet that don't do that. We don't rip each other off for the most part. I mean, our culture generally in America is honest. If I buy a house, I generally get a house. And if I don't get what I bought, I can complain about it. There's a way to complain. But in some of these other places, you can purchase something and then just be told, "Oh, sorry, we steamrolled it," or "That's tribal land," or or anything. Just get lost. And if you don't, even if you go to their court and win, you could still be killed. So
Right.
we
Well,
we have money and we're honest, and that's why we're being targeted.
that's the shit that drives me crazy. One of the things that fucks us up the worst, FBAs, is our levels of honesty. We want to do right, and Attorney Alton Maddox put it so clearly when Alton was at University of Georgia School of Law back in the '60s. He said that he was in law school learning all these concepts of never do this, never do this, never do this with money, never. It's a no. And Alton said when became an attorney, the same white students in his class, that's the first thing they did, was what they were not supposed to do, while all the black ones followed this code of ethics of watching out for no-nos. So that's the thing that frustrates me, is the whole honesty of FBAs. But back to the theory of why West Africa doesn't have any money. I believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, even though I'm a hopeless academic, I'm a spiritual person. I believe in karma. And if you look at karmatic resonance in the Hermetica, which is one of the best books you can ever buy, if you can find it, believe it or not, Hermetica found me. It's one of those books. It's one of those Hermetic texts from maybe Brother Mikhail could tell us more about it. But the book found me one day. I was looking for something, and it just the book kept following me around. I saw it somewhere. I was like, "What is that?" Saw it another place. What is that? Saw it another place. And I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna buy this book." And I bought it, and it was one of the best books I ever bought. But it talks about karma and how things come back around to get you. So let's look at the karma of West Africa. In my opinion, I think when West Africa engaged in that slave trade, selling their own goddamn people to a group of people they did not understand, who were abusing, raping, and destroying the people for trinkets to show off. I think on a spiritual level, higher powers, if you will, saw that and said, "You're going to answer for that." And I think that's why West Africa is broke and distraught and in disarray right now, because they dared to sell their own people. According to Dr. Claude Anderson, he says, quote, "The self-destructive attitudes of the tribal chiefs," stop right there. We're talking about the leaders of West Africa. West Africa was, it was not a, what's the word? Like America, a state, what do you call that? A territorial state. What's the European style of government? The term of art escapes my mind.
Not republic,
Not republic, but like
territory.
it has states and governments. It's a word for that. I forgot the name of it. But Africa is that now. Africa has countries and presidents and shit. That's European shit. Africa used to be a territorial kingdom. Used to be and my brother Mikhail could tell us more about it. But if you look at Africa pre-colonization, it was just kingdoms. And that's why Africa was so powerful, as the kingdoms would fertilize each other. There was a kingdom of Kush and the kingdom of Punt and the kingdom of, I'm leaving some out, Waset. Like they would all
Oh, there's
cross.
tons of them. Do you want me to read them all? I'll read them later.
Yeah, but the European cut them up and turned them into I forget the
Mhm.
term, but turned them into states, basically like Ghana and
The Berlin Conference, you mean?
yeah, there you go. That's it. So before that, it was territorial kingdoms. I'm going around the bush to say something very simple. They were territorial kingdoms. These territorial kingdoms were ruled by tribal chiefs and or kings, right? And Dr. Anderson says the self-destructive attitudes of those tribal chiefs, the rulers of Africa, right, has yet to be fully explained or understood. Dr. Anderson further says, but historian Norman Combs offered one explanation as to why the chiefs so willingly traded their valuable resources to Europeans and Arab traders. According to Combs, African tribal chiefs willingly participated in such questionable trade practices because West African economies, lost my place. West African economies were subsistence based, and therefore people were satisfied with the status quo and saw no need to accumulate wealth and power. So they were balling, these tribal chiefs were balling out of control and saw a starving European that he did not understand, his dumb, stupid, ignorant ass, all of their dumb, stupid, ignorant, backwards ass so gave away human beings to these savages to show off. And West Africa right now is dealing with that goddamn karma. It's almost as if a higher power said, "How dare you give a human being to these people? How
But
dare you do that?" Go ahead, Wani.
but you know what? And let's go to the Mikhail and then the Black Vanguard after that real quick. The sad part about it is they don't have the ability to learn because they're still selling human beings for $100. And not saying that we should put prices on people, but that's not the price of a human being. A human worker is priced similar to an animal worker, and they never learn. Not only are they um, committing crimes against humanity, but they're still not making any money doing it. And that, that's one of the big problems. They they don't make any money.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying, Wani. Let me say it a different way. It's almost as if there's no price on humanity. The Holy Bible, and I'm not a biblical scholar, but the Bible says ye are gods. Like human beings we're real special. We're a special design, and it's almost as if they're thumbing their nose at the Creator by doing that. How dare you sell it? If you're gonna sell a human, at least make it some extravagant thing with selling a human for pennies. And humans shouldn't be sold. Let's get it straight, but it's almost if they're thumbing their nose at creation itself, and that would make sense why they have such piss ass luck, you know. But anyway, brother Mikhail, what's your thoughts on this?
Greetings there, brother, and Savant and Queen Wani, and greetings to our beautiful family. I see we have the Black, the Great Robbie, Sister FBA Bread. Uh, well, we have some very powerful minds. So, does Africa control its resources? Who has more FBAs or West Africa? Or is the question, should we do business in Africa? I'm not certain. It sort of shifted. Or is it both?
Well, I really don't. I feel nervous about doing business in West Africa because they don't seem to have any, it's kind of lawless. So it would be kind of strange to buy like some sort of mineral mine or something. And I don't know, you just have to protect it yourself and have a middleman and all these things.
Okay.
And yeah, basically that's what we're saying.
Okay. Well, first of all, yes, we have individually, of course, we have more wealth than they do. Of course, we have more millionaires than they do. Arguably more billionaires because many of the billionaires are Indians and others. Innovation is quantifiable if we're talking corporate wealth. Most corporations, they buy smaller corporations because they no longer have the capacity to innovate. And we are very innovative, possibly the most innovative on the planet. But I can actually, I mean, we've done the study.
Yeah, I'm talking through a mute. Yeah, really good points. What are your
Can't
thoughts?
hear Mikhail.
Oh, did Mikhail?
Yeah, he must have went out.
Okay,
Yeah, he was having some connectivity issues because he dropped down. He'll come
okay,
back.
okay. While we wait on Mikhail, go ahead, Black.
Yeah, so does Al? Yeah, shout out to everybody in the space, Professor Awani. Does Africa control its resources? Who has more FBAs or West Africans? Well, I travel all over Africa countries. I've been all over West, East, and Southern Africa. I traveled to 10 different African countries. I've been in Ghana, Nigeria, and Senegal in West Africa. Then in East Africa, I've been to Kenya, Tanzania. But one, I kind of wish Tyree Nasheed let me on stage up when that Kenya woman was going out because I've been to our homeland before. I actually spent a year on and off in East Africa. So I actually know all about their country in Kenya though. So that Kenya woman, she made me kind of frustrated a little bit too because I've been to her homeland. I see what goes on over there in Kenya though. About she's talking about the victim mindset. She had a victim mindset, but she had to flee and leave Kenya to come over here because the tribalism is real bad over there in Kenya though. You got tribal warfare over there right now between the Kikuyu tribe and the Maasai tribe over there in Kenya. Yeah, right now though, and
Why are
also
they fighting?
yeah, they fighting though the Kikuyu tribe, which is the biggest tribe in Kenya. They fighting the Maasai tribe over there over land disputes over there.
Overland, okay.
Yeah, so and also tribal politics over there that's going on over there in Kenya. So and also is that the Indians, the Hindus, they run and control the whole entire economy over in Kenya. Place like Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, they run and control the entire economy over the local melanated Africans over there in Kenya. They don't run and control everything over there. Over 80% of their population over in Kenya lives in extreme poverty over in Kenya. So only people that's benefited from their resources is the elites and the elite families and the politicians over there in their country because over here they used to have this Kenyan ambassador of Los Angeles though that used to come out here. And then I went over to Kenya. That was like 2 years ago. I went over there. He lives very well over there. I told him, "How come your people live? How come you live good as a politician, but your people are suffering, living in extreme poverty over there as a whole?" He didn't completely explain it, so I started digging research explaining that too, because that U.S. aid They funnel that money, and only the small percentage of that family live over there. Now you go over there to the Serengeti. How y'all been to Kenya over there in the Serengeti over there? I'm gonna tell you a story about this. Like the Serengeti over there, their land over there is run controlled by the Europeans. The local Africans don't even run and control their own safaris over there. Their land, where the safaris are controlled by the Europeans over there. So they don't run and control their own safaris over there in Kenya and Tanzania. And also is that the tribalism also is that I want to told you that Africa has some of the biggest slums in the world, like Kibera. That's one of the biggest slums in the whole world. It's the Kibera slums outside of Nairobi, Kenya. That's one of the biggest slums in all of Kenya, though. So she come over with the victim mindset, and also is that I actually know their language over there because I actually spent a year in East Africa. Though they speak a language called Kiswahili over there. The white folks over there they call Mazungu over there. That's the word for white people over there. I seen it with my eyes how the Chinese, the Indians, and the Mazungus over there, which is the white people, they could come in their country, set up enclaves in their country, and they tell the local Kenyans that they can't go to their enclaves in their own country while being the majority over there, though. That's what goes on over there in a lot of these East and West African countries. Same thing over there in Nigeria. They always like to point out that 1 billion that's over there in Nigeria, though. We got lots of foundation Black
But
American
we're richer
billionaires.
now. We're richer than them now.
Yeah, we are, though.
Somebody got more money than the guy they were talking about.
Yep. So they always like pointing out to that one Nigerian person wishing they'll never do nothing to their own people. Because I went over to Nigeria too. Like Lagos, it's nothing but a big slum. You got a big slum outside of Lagos called Makoko. That's one of the biggest slums in all of Africa and all the world called Makoko. It's a big river where they basically shitting and pissing in that water though, swimming in that. They live in that water. It's called Makoko in Lagos. If I went over to Lagos, it stinks so bad over there, you'll get sick just breathing the air over there in Nigeria, especially Lagos. So you have to wear damn near a gas mask just to be able to walk on the streets out there in Nigeria, especially Lagos. That's how polluted and unsanitary the area is over there. So and over there in Nigeria is that you got a whole bunch of tribalism over there. You got Chinese and white tribal chiefs over there in Nigeria and Ghana. I seen that with my own eyes too. And they worship and they celebrate white people like they're God on the pedestal over there. So yeah, they also the Africans don't control their resources over there. The Chinese could come over there dirt poor, and within a few years they could become millionaires overnight.
But that's my thing. That's my question. Really, is that we all know this. We know that the French control resources in parts of West Africa. We know that the British control resources in Ghana, and the French control some resources outside of Ghana. And the Chinese, last time I was in Ghana, the Chinese damn near dominating in Ghana. So if outsiders control your resources, how are you wealthy?
And why do they
Exactly.
keep wanting to do business with us? So
Yes,
they can rip us off?
man, Dr. Claude Anderson says, true or not, white traders took advantage of the tribal chiefs. I'm going to say that again. Quote, white traders took advantage of the tribal chiefs' generosities. Stop right there. So, my question to the room is how could these African tribal leaders be so generous? Really, I'm going to replace generous with the real word stupid and not business savvy. That's what it means. But I'm going to use Claude Anderson's word. Why are they generous with Europeans and not generous with us? I thought we're family, right? How are they giving Europeans free stuff? Dr. Claude Anderson says this self-destructive tribalism, self-enslavement, and lack of concern for wealth were interpreted by Europeans as signs of inferiority. They believed these uncivilized, childlike heathens neither appreciated nor deserved their God-given wealth. Consequently, whites rationalized that it was their moral duty to take and utilize Africa's wealth and put blacks to productive work as slaves. So these damn fool tribal chiefs were selling human beings for pennies on a dollar for broken mirrors and umbrellas and broken pistols. And in about 100 years, the Europeans lost respect for them and came and got their ass. And that's why the shit is in a shambles right now. I think it's karma. What do you think, Fire Nagy?
Good afternoon to the room. Um, I think what it comes down to, and this is just me, and I'm going to take it to a curve.
I
We're
can't hear you enough. Are you on a headphone?
yeah. Hold on, let me take disconnect them. Hold on.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, if you're on a headphone,
Can you hear me now?
I hear you perfectly.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna take it to a spin. I think we are a more talented group of people, and that's uniquely different. A German woman once told me that, hey, Germany's landlocked, and so by necessity, we have to invent things like plastic. And I think they invented like the modern fertilizer and stuff like that. And so they had to become innovative. And because of where our position was in the United States for so long, we had to become more innovative. And so when you look at us, we are a more talented group of people, and I don't think necessarily that the Africans having more resources mattered, because our disposition was that, okay, whatever we can't do or whatever we can't have, we'll produce it, we'll make up for it. And I think that's where like the Africans are at a disadvantage. The Africans also, I don't think they're just I don't think they're very savvy when it comes to trading and things like of that nature. um, I'll use a Walking Dead phrase. I remember Negan, he was a villain in episode whatever of Walking Dead, and he said humans are a resource. Um, and
Facts.
we are, we are the epitome of a resource in the United States. I mean, that's why people don't really understand like why the relationship is between us and white folks. I mean, us and everything. We're the dominant culture. We trend things, we do things like that. Um, as far as money, let's see. Let me get to the African who controls Africa's. I think Africans control their resources. They're just not wise to the control. They they my buddy is married to a Senegalese lady, and she said some Romanian guy walked in a synagogue dressed up nice, and they got and the entire government of Senegal engaged in a bad deal for their oil reserves that they found off the coast of Senegal. The Africans give away the rights to their fisheries, and it depletes what the people can do in terms of like subsistence, like fishing or farming. Africans give away their farmland too, so they have resources. They're not wise to it. And it's not just the white man; they do it with the Asians. Asians are taking land in Africa, and they're using it as farmland to
And the
to
Well,
Indians
well,
too, brother.
well,
Don't forget about the Indians.
let me stop you right there. I hear what you say, and I accept your submission, Fire Nagy. So, but why do they get all ultra savvy when we come over there? Why do they finesse the fuck out of me when I go to Ghana and Togo? Why do they seem to know how to finesse Black Americans, and they lose that finesse ability with the Chinese? What's the
well,
difference? What am I not understanding?
I'll say this, and it goes to like how I tend to compliment Wani on how she deals with Africans. It might just be that Black Americans don't treat the Africans like everybody else. We try to treat them a lot kinder, a lot gentler. We try to be equals to them, and everyone else, when they engage in the Africans, they don't treat them as equals. And maybe that's the language that the Africans understand. They understand the language of domination. Um,
Interesting.
and so I think if we took a different approach, maybe we'll get different results. But I think that this whole I noticed it. Wani's a bit of a lioness. She's teaching the cubs how to hunt, right?
Right.
And what I mean by that is in the rooms she'll use different tactics and strategies, and the Africans will do different things. And I don't know if people are picking up on it. I think they're focused more on the dialogue and not the strategies. And I just pick up on everybody's strategy. I pick up on Tariq's strategy, and the strategy she uses shows me that okay, 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 you really can't be too nice to these people. Um, you have to be not just cunning toward them, but you have to be aggressive. You have to be domineering. And if you notice how they, how they get with her, they kind of get unrattled, a little unnerved when she's dealing with them. And I've noticed it just in strategies. But us sometimes I think we're too nice to people, and I think that the Africans would respect power, as Frederick Douglass once said. Power, what was that? Power conceives nothing without demand. Maybe we
Hmm.
should start being more demanding. Maybe when we go into Africa, we should kick our boots up on and say we're going to do this, this, and that, as opposed to hey, let's cooperate. No, they understand things as in you need to be the chieftain. How many chieftains does Nigeria have? Everybody's a chieftain in Nigeria, and we don't pick up on that. Every Nigerian I've seen come over here say, I'm a chieftain. Like, oh, yeah, I got like 20,000 chieftains. So maybe we need to be the chieftains over there and not the diaspora or the Pan Africanists. Maybe we need to just say, hey, I'm the chieftain.
Man, I hope y'all listening to this, brother, because the whole time Fire Nagy and Fire Nagy, your name's appropriate because you be spitting some motherfucking flames, man. But the whole time you was talking, I was thinking about the Arabs. The Arabs went over there and terrorized their goddamn ass so good that they adopted their religion. Remember, and I'm not dissing anybody's religion. That's not my thing. But what I'm not doing is holding back on history. History identified Islam as Mohammedanism. And no disrespect to anybody's religion, don't take it there. It's not no disrespect, but just speaking some facts. Back in the day, in early Mohammedanism, they would spread it by the sword. And matter of fact, according to John Henry Clark, they would walk up to you and with a knife to your neck and say Muhammad or die. So you had to submit, or something would happen. Got it? According to Dr. Claude Anderson, quote, by the later part of the 15th century, West Africa's great trading markets had been closed down by Arab invaders. To support what Fire Nagy said, Dr. Anderson further said, quote, and its great university centers were under the control of Arab scholars. The inference of Arabs and Europeans into the government, educational and religious affairs of West Africa caused the economic conditions of West Africa and Europe to reverse. West Africa start supporting Europe. Europe's wealth can be led back to West Africa, and to support what the fuck Fire Nagy just said. It was the wealth was reversed to you from West Africa to Europe because of dominant behavior. So Fire Nagy, apparently Europeans picked up on what you just tried to tell us. They said, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna go in there and just treat them like however. And it's very unfortunate, but don't hate me. I'm just a messenger. It worked. And it's still working. Black Americans, I hope you listen to Fire Nagy. Land your plane, brother Fire Nagy.
Oh, I'm finished. I mean, you give a great summation, but if I could add anything when Wani is talking, just focus on the strategies of dialogue and focus on the socialization that's unfolding. If you listen to it, you're like, wow, that's a pretty good strategy. Tariq has gotten really good at it in years. If you listen to him from like when he starts doing it to now, he's really good at smoking people out. And I would just tell people focus on the strategies of dialogue. That's something our parents don't teach us as much, but there's a strategy when you're having a conversation with somebody. I yield the floor.
Outstanding.
That's interesting. I think it's not strategic. It's just something that has developed because of the way that they debate. And it's easy to win debates when you're right. You got people still saying that Africans didn't sell slaves. How easy is it to debunk that in 5 seconds? So it's not really debating skills on my part. It's really that they're so very wrong and so very uninformed. And yes, you do have to have that attitude, which goes against my natural personality. I would never go over to anybody's country and look down on them ever. I don't care how poor or broke or slum laden your country is. I would never do that. Every time I've gone to these countries, I've offered microloans. Have you ever heard of those microloans where you give them $1,000 and they start a clothing store or a seamstress, um, or they start a weaving um, factory. I mean, small amounts of money, and they can make a whole lifetime of a business out of it. And I did that with them. I didn't look down on them. I enjoyed their company. I enjoyed meeting them. But now that I see the other side of that, um, I will never feel the same way again about them.
Yeah, yeah, same here, Wani. I've been in West Africa building schools for Christ's sake, and I mean I've showed you and Nikki the evidence of this. I asked school and library, what do y'all need? And I went to the college. They said we need books, and I went and got maybe 90 books. And packaged them up. I didn't, I spent my own time doing that. And when I called them back and got on, what do you call it, WhatsApp, and contacted them, showed them pictures of the books, they said, "No, we want money." I said, "Man, you mean to tell me we got all these books and all these posters and stuff? You don't want it? We want money. They wanted computers, they wanted iPads, they wanted money. Like, it's just a finesse. It was a finesse with me. And this is two different groups. You understand me? Um, so nobody's trying to make fun of anybody's um lifestyle or the situation they're in. But what I'm sick and tired of is them talking down to my brothers and sisters, my children. FBA is that's my group, that's my tribe, and I'm taking the defensive posture in protection of my people. My people come before anybody else. And that's that. You don't come up in my fucking circle and overturn it. I've seen it probably more than anybody in this goddamn room. I've seen these folk come into our colleges and overturn it. And I have seen personally watch them come into our legacy organizations and infiltrate them and turn them against us. And I'm sick of it.
Yeah, and they can't blame, they can't say, oh, Nigerians are doing it. It's your job to put a leash on them. It's your job to control them. It's your job to write articles that go against the articles that these other offensive people are writing. It's your job to run up on Essence Magazine and say, stop doing an ethnocide on these people. Caribbeans have nothing to do with Louisiana. They don't have anything to, Africans don't have anything to do with our history here. And so, because they don't say anything, I'm taking their silence as complicity and that it's their job now. The ball's in their court. I see Mikhail is on the stage. Let's continue.
Go ahead, Mikhail.
Thank you. I apologize for the um, Wi-Fi issues. So um, the problems in terms of investment in West Africa, Africa in general, but I would say West Africa more so, is systemic. Um, there, we're talking at least 2,000 years of distrust, i.e., tribalism, religiosity, politicism. These are challenges. And the distribution and balance of power that's in the hands of Europe, North America, and Asia, is a thing. You have African leaders, essentially, and their institutions or their failed, feeble institutions that lack authority and respect in the international world of politics and finance. And most of these leaders are weak, but meaning globally, but in their homeland, they attempt to prove their power by victimizing and suppressing their citizens, specifically their women, their youth, um, elders, and I would even say more so their business class. So um, politically, the leadership is challenged, and the economy is dysfunctional. And these peoples, meaning the citizens, their rights to privacy, capital, and I would even say the making money, the enjoyment of profiting from their own natural resources is blocked and controlled by these power-hungry leaders, these colluders as well as foreign looters. So, um, economic success on a broader level, for example, compared to the type of success we enjoy, um, is very, very difficult because of the insecurity, greed, corruption of many of these leaders or these state-led authorities, you know, who discourage economic competition. I mean, it's a fact amongst their business class that um, if you're striving for wealth, um, the government, they have a way of eliminating competition and controlling the money streams that will create wealth. And as a result, I think it creates more so unemployment. Um, so the problem is there's no division between political and commercial power. Um, and in cooperation with these elites and the foreign multinational corporations, they they maintain a very powerful economic and political form of control. Again, making it very difficult for the business class to thrive as we do or as we have in the U.S. So uh, Africa's, their entire financial sector needs to be overhauled. You know,
Do do you feel that their lack of trust between each other harms them in terms of doing business? Uh, or is that just something that we see on the bottom of the social class that we don't see on the top?
well, it's the people who are on the top. You know, they're still considered people who are a part of uh, their zeitgeist. Yeah, I mean, unethical business practices or unethical business, immoral practices, bad decision making in banking and finance for these sectors. That's what's at the heart of Africa's economic paralysis. That creates paranoia and fear. People on the so-called lower class, um, these people are basically like us. They're seeking financial freedom, uh, autonomy, financial self-governance, financial equality. But unless uh, they can deal or fix this system of economic oppression, then then they don't have a shot. And
So,
we deal with it to an extent. Economic warfare has been waged on foundationals.
What could I add to that a little bit, Mikhail?
Sure.
I wanted to hit that with some scholarship because I really want to, and I'm gonna be unpopular today. I don't care. I don't care about being popular. I care about telling the truth, so we'll deal with a solution. The truth is the system of white supremacy that it affects the world was created by Africa. Now, Africa was a first line of defense against white supremacy. Let me break it down right quick. According to Dr. Claude Anderson, he says, quote, It was no mere coincidence that the later part of the 15th century, Europe began recovering from its centuries of poverty. Stop right there. You remember Europe? Y'all, we learned in what, 7th grade that Europe was hit with the Black Plague, bubonic plague. They were dying, they were suffering. They recovered because of what I just read a moment ago, where the African chiefs were showing off and giving them slaves. That opened the door and invited them into Africa and invited the Arabs. Word spread around. Dr. Anderson further says, while Africa was increasingly exploited of its mineral wealth and human capital, as millions of Africans were being kidnapped and sold, like some of our ancestors, into slavery around the world, slavery became a simple mechanism by which the wealth of Africa and the blacks could be transferred to Europe. Displacement of African wealth was so massive during the 15 and 1600s that the socio-economic and political upheavals resulted. Now, this wealth, this transfer could not have happened without the complicity of these goddamn African tribal chiefs who descendants are still in Ghana, throwing parties, coming over here, going to our goddamn schools. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I spent a good time in Ghana and in Togo, and their descendants are the ones that's making over here. These ones that come over here from Nigeria and shit bragging, their great granddad is the one that sold our goddamn ass. That's why they're jealous of us. That's why they hate us.
Sure. Well, it's you're right to an extent. It is the resources that drive the dominance that you're speaking of. But these Africans, they did not create the World Bank or the IMF. They didn't create the systems that gives the West indefinite control of
Brother
their
McCall,
nation's economy. Right?
Brother McCall, if I can reiterate on what the professor's saying.
I know what he's saying.
Hold up, Scooby. I'm gonna come to you in a minute. Go ahead.
I know what he's saying. I know what he's saying, sir. I'm here on the continent, and we've done the study. I know exactly what he's saying. But what I'm telling you is that the resources may drive, but the African mind did not create the system.
Understood. Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay?
Understood.
African financiers and economists, they are willfully being ill-advised by incompetent specialists who negotiate and bargain their loans. If they created the system, then they would be advising the foreigners or the foreign investors or the central banking authorities, you see. So they did not create the system. They provided the wealth.
Brother McHale, I agree with you 100%. And I guess my anger, let me be clear on where my anger comes from. My anger comes from, it was up to, in my view, I don't know everything, but they were the first line of defense. They should have fought them off. And, the men of their, of West Africa should have fought them off at all cost. But from what my reading of history, I wasn't there, but from my reading of history from several different scholars, their leaderships just said, fuck it. If you can't beat them, join them. And furthermore, you don't get to.
That's not true.
You don't think so?
That's not true.
Okay.
That's not true.
Educate me.
If we're talking history, and we've had this discussion before, it dates back to the collaboration, right, between the Timahu and the Tehanu, the West Africans, right, that bordered the Mediterranean, right, and the newly created so-called mulatto Kaz, who were a mix of the so-called Mongoloid and Negroid, right? Those were the people who attacked Anu, Kush, Kemet, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm not going. You're right. I'm not going back that far. No, I hear what you're saying.
Before these systems were set up, they did it to overthrow these complex civilizations.
Brother
so they
McCall, we
decided
cannot
together.
deny the fact that we
Hold, hold
had
on, hold on, hold,
Moorish.
hold on, Scooby. We don't want to. This is important. We don't want to. I'm coming to you, I promise, but we don't want to skew.
Most
We
definitely. I apologize.
no, you're good, brother. We don't want to skew this because it's important. What Mikhail is saying is true. He's saying it's true that the attack, and I've said it a bunch of times. The attack on Kemet or Egypt, whatever you want to call it, and when Africa was at its height when it ran the world came from race mixing. It came from the now I'm gonna use Dr. Chancellor Williams' word. He says Asian, but that's misleading. I think by Asian, Dr. Chancellor Williams meant Arab. Maybe Wani could clear that up. But Dr. Chancellor Williams says that Asian men came to what is now called Egypt, and the leadership of Egypt gave them women, out of hospitality because they said the Asian men came over to do work. And the Egyptian leadership said, hey, here goes women because men don't, they were being nice. They said men don't need to be alone. Here goes women. And the Asian men start having babies with the black Egyptian women. And according to Dr. Chancellor Williams, in under 200 years, a whole league of mixed race babies who did not identify with being black or Egyptian fucking had a civil war that triggered a weakness in, I think, the fourth cataract of Egypt and made it a vector of attack by which Alexander, I hate to say his fucking name, but just to identify him because he wasn't great, but Alexander the Great took over Egypt. So Mikhail's right. But in my mind, so he's right. That was the initiation of the weakening of Africa. But what way I'm looking at it, and I might be wrong. Fuck it, I don't know everything. I feel like the men of West Africa, that was in East Africa. The men in the leaders.
No. That was West Africa. It started literally maybe 8,000 years before the time that you mentioned. Remember the Tehanu and the Tamahu? They were sort of West Africa bordering the Mediterranean, you see.
Y'all, if we gonna name these motherfuckers, we gotta name them by the people that they were conquered by, like they name us by the people that we were conquered by. These motherfuckers was conquered by the French.
Hold on. This is careful. We gotta nitpick through
And
this.
this was before the Greeks existed, sir, as a nation.
Understood.
I'm looking for Chancellor Williams' book right now. Go ahead, Mikhail.
No, I'm just saying, before there was a such thing as an Asian or Mongoloid or a caste type, these people who are in the area we call Nigeria all the way to that Mediterranean area, they were treasonous and hateful then. And if we're talking Anu, that civilization as a developed civilized empire didn't exist until maybe 10,000 BCE. Right? So they were treasonous and hateful and jealous. That was the nature. Greedy, corrupt. That was the nature and the reason for these attacks. But the financial systems of trade, import, export, came with the Anu, Kush, and Kemet continuum, right? The ones who you will call the Persians, Greeks, the Neo-Syrians, Romans, so-called Romans, Arabs, they took those, they stole, they were given in some cases these trade systems. And that became, of course, what we know as the systems that exist today.
Well, Dr. Chancellor Williams, Mikhail, says in 4000 BC, the Caucasian people, he says, he's talking about Ethiopia. He said the first cataract, the gold of the Nile, the great wealth was the magnet that drew Caucasian people from many lands, and these increased the number and variety, and the undermining of black power was accelerated. So basically, Egypt, we're going to use the word Egypt. I hate it. I gag when I say it, but everybody I know about the other terms. But Egypt was where everybody went to school and they saw this gold is wealth.
Okay.
And the chancellor says that he says Caucasian peoples basically were drooling over the wealth, and they fucking from the moment they saw it, they start scheming on how to steal it. And to support what you said, he said the blacks were pushed to the bottom of the social, economic, and political ladder whenever the Asians and their mulatto offspring gained control. So the Asians were mixing with our women. They were having mulatto babies and using these babies as goddamn weapons against the African people. And I see that's something we need to realize is that just a melanated people in general is mulatto. I'm basically a mulatto and unintentionally, but I've seen that mixed people are used as weapons to sow division. Like nobody talks about weaponized mulattoes, but Chancellor does say that they're the Asians and mulatto offspring were used to gain control over Africa. So it did begin with race mixing.
Well, right, but Kemet did not exist in 4000 BCE. Sure, not Nile Valley culture existed.
Yeah, Chancellor, just to be clear, Chancellor didn't say.
Think about it like
hold
this,
on,
y'all. If we are ethnogenesis, now I just want to add this, brother. If we are ethnogenesis right now, imagine if back then.
Scooby, we're gonna come to you. That this is me and Michaela trying to establish something because this is touchy, and when you come in, it kind of throws off with my train of thought. And I wanted to say, Michaela, that I'm just clarifying. I'm not. Chancellor didn't say Kemet. He didn't. I did. The chapter is called Ethiopia's oldest daughter. He says Egypt.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sure. They came not just for gold, but they came for literally a 3 million year repository that eventually Alexander called his library, but that was initially Persians, the Neo-Assyrians, and then the so-called Greeks, Romans, Arabs, and now the West repository of knowledge that they didn't have.
I got a question for you. Is the repository in the Horamaket, or what the Europeans call the Sphinx, is it at the bottom of that?
Yeah, that's where it was initially, right?
They moved it?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Mikhail is talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is some real heavy shit. There's rumors of a library of knowledge leading back to the times of Atlantis in what is called the Sphinx. Now, Sphinx is a pejorative. It was called Horamaket, which means Christ, or I was saying Christ, but Horus on the horizon, Christ on the horizon, basically is what that translates as to. There was a library of information about ancient culture, ancient wisdom we can't even imagine, in the bottom of Horamaket, which was stolen by the Europeans. And it is my theory that information is what is used to control the goddamn world right now. We don't know our own science. But go ahead, continue, Mikhail. This is interesting.
Well, no, it's true. But issues of tribalism, tribalnomics, revenge wars that existed thousands of years before there was such people as the Yamnaya or the Kaz people. And that was created initially by the people in the area you call West Africa, you know, and this is what, these systems of greed, corruption, and control is sustained by, and the albinoid types, they use that degree of larceny that still exists on the continent, and you're correct, to maintain their oppressive systems. So compliance, is true. It's real. But in terms of money supply and financial strength and liquid liabilities and the amount of money circulating within the banking sector is unquestionably controlled by or directed by outsiders.
Yes,
these people,
outsiders who outsiders who have access to our sacred information, who have perverted it and used it as a tool of power. My question is, and it's a rhetorical question, is what mechanisms of power did they find that we're not aware of? It does not make sense that 7% of the world runs the world with an iron fist. They know something that they know technologies that we've forgotten. Mikhail, go ahead and land your plane. We're going to go to I've been saying Scooby. I just put my glasses on. That says SCO6Y. But go ahead, Mikhail. Land your plane. We're going to go to SCO6Y.
Well, let's go to SCO6Y right now. I'm curious to hear what he has to say.
Go ahead, brother.
Thank you.
Honestly, bro, I'm new to it all, man. I'm new to this whole Twitter thing. I'm a foundation of Black American out of Northwest Louisiana, bro. My descendant, my mother is from Louisiana. My grandmother from Louisiana. My dad, they descend from out of Texas, like out of East Texas area, like Tyler, Texas and all that. So I just want to reiterate on the, I want to keep it on the topic, man. Like, does Africans, control its resources? Hell no, they don't. And honestly, I want to be real with y'all, bro. The back with, with what y'all was touching on. I feel like Africans, man, to be honest, bro, from what I've been seeing lately, and I'm only 26 years old, bro. So as of December the 30th of last year, Africans, from what I'm seeing, bro, they don't hold no type of fucking reason to come over here and verbally, describe any type of motherfucking dealings on how we do our thing over here, whether it's gang banging or political shit, Democrats and Republican things. They shouldn't be speaking on the damn thing. Because I feel like one thing about it, you over here on a Visa card. You not over here, baby. You don't belong here, honestly. You don't hold no damn type of substance to this land. Nothing at all. So with y'all coming over here talking y'all shit, and another, it ain't even them. It's Mexicans. You got Puerto Ricans, all type of shit, bro. I've been following this man for at least about 5 years now. This man done grew me, as a young boy. So I feel like the things that, with this African thing, bro, it all started in their continent. Let's be real. With the colonization, them motherfuckers couldn't handle our ancestors over here. Let's be real, bro. We wouldn't be here matter of fact, we would be in the same position as them. We wouldn't be better. You wouldn't have foundational Black American rappers and entertainers and, you wouldn't have all these things, bro. You wouldn't have, the only thing we don't have over here, bro, is a foundation of Black American political power. That's the only thing we do not have, bro. We have everything else. We provide every other, whatever you want to call it, service. We provide it all. Generational. We done provided it all, bro. And it's passing through my words only because of the fact, bro, is because I come from this shit, man. Well, like we all come through it.
I appreciate your passion, brother, and I urge you. I'm gonna give you stay on. I'm gonna give you a reading list to kind of bring you up to speed on what's going on because it's real fucked up. But just to kind of before we move on to the next speaker, I don't want Mikhail's contribution to be lost in the sauce. Mikhail made mention of mulattoes. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is the vector of it. And I say this as somebody who obviously has different, most Black Americans have race mix, but I can't say enough how that vector of attack of intentional, and I'm gonna have to say it. I'm gonna have to say it. Rape being used as a weapon to gain control. Rape has been intentionally used by the Europeans to gain control over the world And I wanted to hit y'all with some scholarship before we move on to Head and Shoulders. We're going to go to Head and Shoulders, then Agent Zero, then Ishmael, then Futures. But I want y'all to listen to this real clearly. This is a gem found in Chancellor Williams' book that's kind of hard to find. If you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. On Chancellor Williams' book, in his chapter called Ethiopia's oldest daughter, powerful chapter. Chancellor says this. He says, the weakening of the blacks by turning their half white brothers against them. We're talking 4000 BC, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the scheme of weakening the blacks by turning their half white brothers against them cannot be emphasized because it began in the early times, and it became the universal practice of whites. Y'all heard you hear what Chancellor just said? That was a universal that was working for him. The whites, quote unquote whites, Europeans found something that worked. They found that if you mixed our blood, we was gonna love both children. And if you told one child that he's better than the other, you just fucked up a culture. Dr. Chancellor Williams says the white Asians. I'm gonna have to ask Wani, what does that mean? Does that mean Arab? Again, Dr.
Yes.
Okay, because that's so confusing to me.
Over time, these words change, and of course, they created the Middle East to, for political reasons.
Wow. See, you see how they play with words? The white Asians, according to Dr. Chancellor Williams, were generally, listen to this closely, the white Asians were generally very proud of their sons by black women, but these black mothers remained slaves, while their mulatto sons and daughters were born free and, moreover, classified as whites. As such, they formed a social class that, while never recognized as equal with the real whites, had just about all the other privileges of free men. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
What year was that? Does it say
Four,
time frame?
4000 BC. This shit is old, Wani. This light
Yeah.
skin.
So see, when they say that there wasn't any racism or this type of mindset in the Greco-Roman world, that's why I said I side-eyed it, because I said I know this has to have existed in some way, shape, or form somewhere. So it did exist somewhere. I can't prove it existed in the Greco-Roman Empire, but it did
Yeah,
exist.
it existed in Egypt, and it's something very powerful. You use your powers of inference in that sentence. He said that the white Asians were very proud of their sons by black women, but the mothers remained enslaved. There you go. That's it right there. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a white Arab and you had a baby with a jet black Egyptian woman, and you had that woman in bondage, you treated her like shit. You had her in chains, and you were very proud of your son or your daughter, your mixed race child, and you treated your child as free. What type of mental image is that child going to have about, what lesson is that child going to learn about darker skinned people? I love my mama, but she's supposed to be enslaved because daddy loves me and daddy treats me normal. So I must be normal because I look more like daddy. This shit is insidious. This is the greatest evil ever created on mankind, in my opinion. I can't think of anything more evil. What are your thoughts on this, Head and Shoulders?
Hey everybody, shout out to you, Professor Allen, Wani, Brother McCall, and everybody else in the room. Always learn so much from everybody here, and glad I was able to actually catch you before I go to sleep. So going in reverse order from what you just said there, yeah, this stuff is insidious, it is evil, and I got first introduced to this concept when I was listening to Brother Khalid Muhammad, and he was talking about the 6,000 year genocide against black people, although he used the term African. He would always speak about that, and so it got me curious, and I started looking into it further and further, and I was like, wow, because I always assumed that maybe this was about 700 or 800 years old, maybe. or maybe even if it was about 400 years old, hey, you know what? They got gunpowder. They started, using that newfound power over melanated people in the last 400 or 500 years. So, you know what? They developed the system real quick. But then, it kind of makes sense now when you think about it. It had to be a system that already existed. It was not an experimental thing that they would have used. It's something that's been tried, true, and perfected. And just like many other things that they still or have developed over the centuries. I mean, nothing the European does actually works unless it has already been proven before them. They don't know how to farm. Not really. They had to take it from us. They didn't know how to really develop other forms of technology. So this system of using mixed race babies, that makes sense that it's so many thousands of years old. And as far as the title of what you're talking about, do Africans control their resources? I would say yes, they do control their resources. They control them in as far as they misuse them, and I would say allow other people to control them, or to take them at cheap prices. For example, if you look at the Sahel region at the current moment where they had coups, and even looking at Gaddafi, because if I'm not mistaken, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, he came to power through a coup himself. Same thing with Museveni and many others. They came to power with coups, and Gaddafi started to use that in a beneficial way for his own people. And same thing with General, or not sure if it is General. Actually, I don't want to use the wrong title, but Traore and the other guys that are there in the Sahel states. They have the ability, simply, if you just start fighting back, to control your resources. I mean, Iran is an example in the so-called Middle East, but what is that? Northeast Africa is what it used to be called. So, I mean, every time Britain and later on the United States wanted to overthrow them and put somebody in power, they did a power struggle and then took it back. And that's what we're seeing still today. So if the people are going to fight back, they can control resources more directly. But I mean, I've said this many times, they're a defeated people overall. It's just so much negativity. And you could say it's a lot of it engineered. But at the end of the day, nobody's going to feel sorry for you. Nobody's really going to come up and try to do anything for you other than the people themselves. We've tried to do it and extend a hand, but it's proven to be a little bit too toxic for us to do it because they're going to stab us the way they stab each other. Until they turn it around, they're not going to do it. Now, who has more money, Black Americans or West Africa? If you're measuring money in the resources, West Africa has us beat. If you're measuring money in the human capital and potential, we got them beat in spades. If you're measuring money in dollar amounts or anything that's converted to dollar amounts, we also have them beat. So we got them beat out of 2 out of 3 of them. And even if they were able to access their resources, the simple fact that we have them beat in human capital potential, as far as creativity, our use of mathematics, our use of, which is really everything. If you learn calculus, you pretty much learn everything in life, in my opinion. You learn is 3 equations in geometry and algebra and whatnot that solve pretty much most things. Calculus introduces 1 extra equation that really solves those 3 equations even more simply. You could kind of do it in the top of your head, really, once you do that. So with our innate ability to connect with that in different areas, whether it's in music, whether it is in architecture, sports, so on and so forth, the sciences, we got them beat hands down. If you're measuring money as far as that, and that I think is the most important measure when it comes down to it, because again, and I'll land here, they are a defeated people. Since this has been used, as you're quoting Chancellor Williams, at least 4,000 years ago, This has been a 4,000 year psychological warfare, and it's not something that can be fixed overnight since these things are passed down genetically from one generation to another. If you're defeated now, you're going to pass that down to your kids, and they're going to pass it down to their kids, and so on and so forth. So I think that's where we're at now.
I wanted to add something because Wani asked about the years, and you're bringing up the years. On the same page where Chancellor mentions 4000 BC, he has a footnote at the bottom that I thought was important. His footnote is as follows: "Quote: Note that throughout this work, I refer to the time spans of 6,000 years, 5,000 years, 4,000 years, and 3,000 years, etc. The variations depend on the time span of the development under discussion." So it's kind of, I'm saying that to say that 4000 BC is a educated guess. It could have been longer than that, but it was a long time ago, just to make it clear. And before we move on to Agent Zero, I wanted to kind of reiterate the point of where I stand on this. I stand that from my view of history, the West African leadership failed. If you look at Shaka Zulu, what Shaka Zulu was trying to do was to organize the West African chiefs to stand together as one against the European, and that didn't work. Even though he was a brilliant tactician, they kind of turned on him in a way. So from my view, their lack of leadership and cohesion, which is still present on the West. I don't know much about East Africa. I haven't been there like I want yet. I'm going pretty soon, going to Kemet. But West Africa, my understanding of that West Africa is they have a problem standing together cohesively as one. And from my view of history, their failure to stand together cohesively and fight off this enemy was a main contributing factor. I know Brother McHale brought up they didn't design, they didn't architect the banking system, but what do men do? Men stand up against oppressive systems. That's what black men did during the civil rights movement at the cost of our fucking lives. King got blown away. Malcolm X got blown away. You know, we stood. We've been tested. Medgar Evers, who is an unsung hero, lost his life standing on two with a family. So my view of history shows a lot of their leadership not standing on two and standing up for the lineage, but or the African lineage, but caving in. So given that fact, given that history, I think it's unfair to turn to my lineage, foundational Black Americans, and either A, throw criticism, or B, ask for help. How about you stand on two and get yourself back together, and once you're we're on even playing field, we can talk as men. Go ahead. What'd you say?
We
Warner?
have Forrest on the stage.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's go ahead and see.
He's a troublemaker.
Yeah, I know. Before I kick Forrest off, let's hear what he has to say.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if you want to talk about West African, who better can you call on? I think a West African should be here when you're talking about West Africa. You don't have a bunch of FBAs over here talking about
what's the
GDP
of West Africa?
On the spot, can I talk? When I saw you on the co-host yesterday, I didn't want to come up.
So I'm asking you, what's the gross domestic product?
Can I answer? Why do you
hold on? I'm asking you now.
Oh,
what's
God,
the GDP?
back to me.
I'm not talking about white Jesus, sir. I'm talking about the gross domestic product of West Africa.
Can I speak to the topic?
No, can you answer the question?
Bro,
can you answer the question? Answer the question, sir.
All the FBAs come here to give your opinion.
Hello.
I got it. What's the GDP of West Africa?
You want to ask me?
What's the GDP of West Africa?
Oh, I'm demuted.
What's the GDP of West Africa?
Prof, are you scared of me giving my opinion?
Does it seem like I'm scared?
Shut your bitch ass up, nigga. Answer the question, nigga.
West African is here. Can I speak to the topic? Don't be scared of me.
The GDP.
Nigga, fuck West Africa, nigga.
Is,
fuck you talking about, nigga.
Is $810 billion. Now, I'm not going to really get into this because I don't know what the hell GDP is. Okay? Even when I read the description. But if I try to compare it to ours, and ours is between 1.6 trillion and 2 trillion. This is why we're being targeted. We're projected to be at 2 trillion. But I don't know what that all means. I'm just trying to find some sort of, figure to figure out what's going on with our, but
Why, keep in mind the IMF and the UN kind of do a rough estimate of the GDP in African countries because they really don't know because they don't pay taxes. And so they're just guessing and they're kind of artificially inflating it, and it could be a lot lower.
I know. See, I can't really speak on this topic that hard, but I can say, that we have way more money than Africa and Africans, and that's why we're targeted. That's why you're going to get a picture of a Dominican girl's butt.
Hey,
You're going to get a picture of a Dominican girl's butt in your DMs because they target our men to come down there and date them for a week, $100 a week.
And
Is that a good deal?
that's been the purpose, ladies and gentlemen, my foundational Black Americans of our spaces, Wani and I and Nikki. Nikki's on the way, by the way. Is to let you know how powerful you are, FBA, and let you know how much power you wield. We don't realize it, but you know, we are the sauce, like our brother Dewan B said, and we're here to let you know that we're here to let you know that another tactic that, let me identify some shit, and then we'll move on to Agent Zero. A tactic that our ops have picked up on psychologically, as identified by Claude Anderson, is that we were damaged by that slave trade psychologically. Psychological warfare has been we couldn't be touched warfare wise. They had to go mind wise. That whole race mixing bullshit is psychological warfare. How do I know it? Because I'm from a family. My big mama was raped by a slave master on the fields of Aniana, Alabama. And my family, we got light skin, blue eyes. We one of them families. And I've watched how that's tore my family up. If a baby's born brown, people start acting funny. People say things like, look at his ears. That's psychological warfare. You know what I'm saying? It's messed our mind up. And what I'm saying is, what's happened is our enemies and our ops have recognized that this European has damaged our mind and self-esteem. According to Dr. Claude Anderson, he says, quote, worst of all, slaves were intentionally kept without hope. A slave's life was committed to producing wealth and comfort for white masters. The slaves suffered in silence. They knew that we were damaged by that shit, and they exploit on it. That's why I have little to no leniency with these vitriolic West Africans, because what they have done is come over here and played on that shit too. Hit them here, make them, that whole pimping thing of like making a prostitute feel like she's not like she's less than, so she don't leave you. That shit is done to Black Americans, but we letting you know how beautiful, how handsome, how fucking powerful, how you have one of the greatest economies in the planet. And if we stick together, we got this game. That's all. Don't let no outsiders come up in your own game telling you anything about yourself, because they got to get on your level first before they start spitting some bullshit towards you.
By the way, for some reason, we're trending. FBAs are trending all day.
Yep. Mr. C, throwing thumbs down is not going to help me let you up.
What did we do this time to be trending?
And all we had to do is be ourselves, which is fucking wonderful. Go ahead, Agent.
Hey, what's going on, Professor? What's up, Money? What's going on, y'all? I want to hit on a couple things. Well, first off, do Africans control the resources? I say that yes and no. If it's not dug out the ground, you ain't got no control of it. You might as well not have it. You know, that's just like giving a baby a car; it ain't gonna drive it. Two, they don't control the resources of the resources that they have extracted. They don't control them because they don't have no self control with them. They're not using them to better themselves. Can y'all hear me?
I hear you just fine, brother.
Yeah. All right, and I want to hit on a couple other things. Someone said something about them just basically giving us away for trinkets to kind of flaunt their wealth. I think that's
I
kind of
said that.
oh, I agree with you because I think that's kind of ingrained in them. Because look how Mansa Musa went when he journeyed across towards East Africa, how he was just giving away gold to the point where he broke economies in some places. So I would say yes to that. And another thing that you had spoke on about how the Egyptians and the Chinese were mixing, and those offspring were used to kind of oppress or control or be a buffer class between them and the Egyptians that was the original Egyptians or whatever, for lack of better words. I think that's even going on right now today. It's a group in Sudan when the Sudanese were having those wars before it became North and South Sudan, when they were having those ethnic wars, and the one group was called the Janjaweed, if I'm pronouncing that right, and they are basically like Arabs. You can look at them and tell them from the Southern Sudanese. They are Muslim and they speak Arabic, but you can look at them and you can tell one from the other. So I kind of see where that even goes into play right now, and I think that also that they only want us to so-called come back home because they see that we are how can I put it? We are a natural resource as far as our innovation. Aside from our wealth, are they more wealthy than us in cash? Completely no. Are they more wealthy than us? Just in general, period, I would say no, because our wealth lies in our innovation, or part of our wealth lies in our innovation. And you can't control, that's a natural resource that you can't control. If a person is innovative, they're innovative. Or if a people is innovative, they're innovative. If they have some kind of tangible item or a resource, then you could conquer them and take that physically. But you got to think about it. We were slaves and inventing things. After slavery, when we were free and had nothing, we were inventing things and creating things, and we're doing the same thing right now today. One more thing. Let me see. Okay, I think that was it. I'll land my plane right there, and if you can speak on that, Professor Owani.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I stand by that comment. Where, yeah, you're right. Musa Kita, Mansa means king. King Musa, his name was Musa Kita. Musa Kita fucked us up too. Fucked up our likeness. Even though I'm not African, I'm FBA, but he fucked up the like. It's all this stupid ass be showing off bullshit. He went across the world giving out gold. Dummy. How do you think
Right.
that was going to work? This damn fool went around giving out gold to folks. What do you think they said? They said, "Ooh, these dark people have money. Let's prey upon them." See, these people jump into situations without doing their homework. I'm
So
gonna
you
give
would
I'm gonna give Europeans credit, even though they have an evil, sniveling, low down history. You know what Europeans do? They sit back for years and study groups of people. They fucking study. They wanted Japan, and Japan was untouchable. Japan is an archipelago. That means it's surrounded by mountains. Number one, an archipelago is a group of islands in the middle of nowhere. And guess what? To make that even worse, it's surrounded by mountains. You can't attack Japan. Can't
and
do it.
one more
Go ahead,
thing,
Abe.
Professor. I'm sorry. One more thing.
No, go ahead.
I don't. I know for a fact in my mind, for a fact that they don't care about repatriating people in the diaspora back to Africa out of love or kindness or care. They only want those that they can benefit off of. And the reason why I say that is because the Arab world is closer to Africa than we are, right?
Preach.
As far as able to get to, it's over 150,000 descendants of slaves in Iraq. You know the movie ATL. You know the two twins, the dark skinned girls that play in ATL. Those girls' parents, those girls immigrated here from Iran. So it's thousands of black people in Iran that's descendants of slaves. It's descendants of slaves in Palestine. It's a group of people. It's a group of people in Yemen that are descendants of slaves, and they get treated like dirt. But all these people I'm naming have no kind of innovation or no kind of financial resources or no kind of natural resources or nothing they can provide to the African continent. So that goes to show they're not doing it out of, they're not trying to get us to repatriate out of love and respect and all of that. It's only off of what they can benefit from us. And I land my plane.
Yeah. And that's very true. And what I was saying earlier is what I'm saying, it's really interesting. It's interesting because the walking around, going to other people's country, giving away gold made our likeness a target, even though we're not the same lineage. We look similar, and these damn fools, these showing off ass chiefs, made us a target. Again, Dr. Claude Anderson says, while traders took advantage of tribal chiefs' generosities, this self-destructive tribalism, self-enslavement, and lack of concern for wealth were interpreted as by Europeans as signs of inferiority. They believed these uncivilized, childlike heathens neither appreciated nor deserved their God-given wealth. Consequently, whites rationalized it was their moral duty to take and utilize Africa's wealth and put blacks to productive work as slaves. These damn fools doomed themselves and by proxy doomed us. Go. I want to hear what this Nigerian got to say. Mr. C, come on up and tell me what does a Nigerian have to say in FBA business. What do you have to add to this, sir?
Thank you so much. I mean, the topic is about FBA and West Africa, right? So I'm just coming here to give my opinion to the topic.
Come on. Let's hear what's your opinion, what the value of your opinion. Let's hear.
Of course. Does Africa control its resources? Of course we do. You might say, or some might say, it's being mismanaged. But as regards to controlling of the resources, Africa is very much in control of our resources. And to the second point, who have more money, FBAs or West Africa, this is kind of funny to me because there's no competition here, West Africa, in fact, Nigeria's alone.
Oh, now you don't want to compete. Got it.
Well, sir, my question to you is, if Nigeria is in such control of its resources, its vast resources, why the hell are you in Canada?
This is forces of count by
you got to, because you have a Canadian flag up.
Do you think
standing in solidarity with Canada begins. I'm in Canada. I'm in Nigeria.
Are they under attack?
That's another conversation. That's another conversation, though. So back to the topic, though.
Man, dude, the purpose of scamming is to get money. You're not getting money out of marijuana.
The delineation.
I mean, I don't think anybody up here is richer than me, to be honest.
Oh wow! Let me guess. You're a prince. Let me guess. You're a prince, right?
He's a doctor.
You're a prince. Did you go to a historically black college?
I'm an engineer. I'm not a prince.
Hold on.
But I repeat, there's nobody up here richer than I am.
This is good. He's an engineer. What school of engineering did you go to, sir?
Now you're all up in my private business.
No, I know you went to either a white one, went to a white European one, or you went to a historically black one, because your schools of engineering are not accredited, sir.
Let me talk like the popular lady on TikTok. It's against my religion to say my personal business.
And what religion is that, sir?
Christianity.
Oh, with the white Jesus. Hold on, let me give you the white Jesus right quick that I saw in Nigeria.
What do you mean with the white Jesus?
Hold on, man, I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you.
I know what the white Jesus look like. Why are you trying to show me what the white Jesus?
Because last time I was in Nigeria, I saw it all over the place. I saw it so many times that my lady said,
you post that in every of your pictures to be posting the white Jesus.
Looks like
he's not rich.
Professor, enough with the white Jesus stuff.
We have more money than your whole country.
You don't. No, you don't.
Yes,
you don't.
I do.
How many are you guys? I mean, the fact is there. The statistics are there.
Out my pocket?
How many? The whole population of Black Americans.
Don't talk about our
I'm being muted again. Okay, I'm being muted.
If we don't have money like that, bro, why come do you sell your land so cheap to us when we come over there? You sell your land for so cheap to us.
Is it a question? Should I reply?
Americans, your shit
Can I reply?
Fucking dirt cheap.
Can I reply your
reply?
Question? Thank you so much.
If this dude was rich, he would not be on this fucking shit right now talking.
No, I'm here to
You
talk
are
sense
not
into some
rich. You are
people.
not rich. Stop talking
Okay.
like that. You're not
Okay.
rich.
If that makes you
You
happy,
sound,
fine.
yo,
If that makes you happy, fine then.
you sound like a fraud.
Hey, Force, why you?
Dude, reply to the question, bro. You fucking running around, bro. Reply. Come on.
I was about to reply and someone was saying something. I had to keep quiet. I'm a civilized person. I don't talk over
Reply
people.
to my ass, boy. Reply, boy.
Listen, don't call me boy. Don't call me boy. You're not talking to your random.
Reply, boy.
You're not talking to your random
Reply,
street nigga.
boy.
Listen.
Shut your bitch ass up, nigga. Reply. Reply. I'm your master. I'm your master, nigga. I'm your fucking master, nigga. Reply.
This dude is crazy.
Reply.
What is saying? Oh, man, this guy is from the street. Why are you talking like from the street? I'm in my office. You're talking like you sounded from the street.
We are gangster up in here. What
No, I'm no gangster. I'm a big man doing my shit.
Nigeria right now.
You talk about you got more money than everybody in here.
Of
Get
course.
the fuck out. Shut up
Of
with
course,
that,
that is
man.
true, though. I'm being honest.
Got no
You do
money.
not.
Shut the
You don't
hell
know
up.
what people got in here. How you gonna say that? You sound
These are
stupid.
FBA bums,
This is
though. I
what
mean,
I'm
come on
talking
now.
about. That's why we say, yo, these Nigerians, all these people talking about what they got more than us. You don't know what we got. Stop talking for us.
Oh, they know. That's why they
Listen,
keep coming around, hanging around the
You
Black
don't have
American.
nothing. You don't
trying to
have
get
nothing. I
in
promise
our
you.
face.
You got a bunch of bootleg shit over there. That's
Oh, here we go.
second hand
Oh, here
down
we go.
China stuff.
Here we
You're
go.
not nothing, bro. Stop fronting.
Same talking point.
Bruh, he's
Can I?
And your
measuring
bitch ass
Naira
came over
versus
here.
the
You
US
over
dollar.
there in Canada on a fucking visa card. You fucking lame ass. Fucking
Who told you I'm in
Shut the
Canada?
fuck up.
Boy, nah,
Your
listen,
flag.
listen, guys. Let's have a civil conversation without being
Okay.
emotional, right?
We're going to be good. I'm going to be absolutely good.
Why is it that
How much you
so
got?
many? Why is it so many Nigerians think people stupid? Like, why would you be
I
flying to
don't
Canada?
know. They
They
all
think people
do
are stupid,
that
and they be playing kindergarten games. So
because
if
they're stupid and they don't understand that that people are
Professor,
smarter than them.
you need to ask me where.
well, if you look in the jumbotron, you'll see a picture of. And I took that picture with my iPhone when I was in West Africa. I tried to ignore it. When I got off the plane, I saw it in Ghana. We went all over West Africa, and I saw it from the coast of Ghana, Accra, Togo, Nigeria. It was everywhere. And but on the way home, I had to take a picture to share it with the family. It's important. Why? Because the Bible describes Jesus as skin of burnt bronze, hair of wool, hair like mine. And in the continent, that's the picture of Jesus. Why is that important? That's important because our dear sister, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, said that implements the likeness of an almighty God as somebody who doesn't look like you. Therefore, you can't look at somebody who looks like you and think that they're divine in any way. These people look down at people that look black because they think that God looked like that Bee Gees character in my Jumbotron. He
Professor, I
hates
have a question
us.
for you, please. I have a question for
He
you.
hates us.
Can I ask?
And if you were rich, why you fucking with us? Why you fucking with the broke? Nah, we ain't broke. But why you fucking with FBAs? We not in your space. Man, I never even seen a Nigerian space because I ain't looking for one.
There's nothing to talk
Professor,
about.
can I talk? This space is like everybody telling each other what they want to hear. You just have only one person with an
Well, let us
opposing
have
voice.
fun. Let us
No,
have
you just
fun
have only
then.
one person with an
You
opposing
don't want
voice,
us
and
to
you guys
have
are
fun?
shutting me down.
Well, brother,
You
you
have
understand?
200 people
Cause the
here.
truth hurt, bitch. The truth is unacceptable, bitch.
You
Well,
have
let's
200 people here with the same opinion. Just me by myself having a different opinion. You're
Okay,
still
what is
shutting
your
me down.
opinion?
Yeah, what's your
Okay.
opinion? Let's hear
Why?
your opinion, sir. Let's hear your
Thank you
opinion.
so
Your
much. Allow me
problem is
talk. You guys are
here's the
200.
problem.
You guys are saying the same thing to yourself. We
Try
understand that.
to
Can I
Well,
talk?
try to stop. Hold on.
go
Try
ahead.
to stop saving face. Stop telling us fake statistics that we can easily look up. Okay? Don't try to save face. If you don't control your resources or your government controls it and gives you nothing, which is what happens, the government controls it all and doles out 13% of the resources to the whole country, and the rest of it goes into their pockets. And then you beg Black Americans for some money. Okay?
Thank you so
You're,
much, host and co-host.
you're on welfare. You are on
Uh,
our welfare system.
thank you so much. Please, like I said, you guys are more than 200 here with the same opinion. Just me by myself with a different
Well, go
opinion.
ahead,
So I will
get to the
appreciate.
point. Get to the
I
point.
will appreciate if my opinion is being heard. I'm West African, and the West African is up on the topic there too as well.
What
So
is your
thank you so
opinion,
much.
sir? What's your opinion?
Like I said, just Nigeria have more millionaires in dollars than the whole of the FBA combined together. We're not talking about
No,
West
you
Africa.
don't.
We're talking
No,
about Nigeria.
no, you don't. We have
I'm being
the.
muted again.
Name four
I'm being
Nigerian
muted.
fucking millionaires.
Okay,
Name
if
four
so,
Nigerian fucking millionaires.
Hold on. Let's stop. Let's not scream. That's not true at all. He's just a liar.
Can
Try again. We
Sir,
already
sir,
know.
can I
sir,
finish up when you keep muting me? Can we have a
sir,
conversation?
with all due respect, your group has a really bad reputation of lying and scamming, and you're feeding into that stereotype. I don't believe in stereotypes. I want to give a man a chance to to defend himself on his own merits, but you're feeding into a stereotype that we see a lot in spaces, and I see a lot in the academic world. If you're going to make a claim, sir, like I am, and like many people in this space with 224 people, as you mentioned, I'm quoting Dr. Chancellor Williams. I'm quoting Dr. Claude Anderson. I'm throwing some Jacob Carruthers in there. Could you please back up what you said with some statistics? I don't want to hear what you think. I want to hear what you can prove, sir, and do it quickly because we got other speakers that need to
Yeah,
speak.
I'm going to move past him. I'm just going to say that Nigeria's GDP is 3.2, no, 362.8 billion, $362 billion. Point blank. That's it.
It's obvious you guys don't want me to speak, and you guys
Hey, I
just
put
want.
something in the purple pill, so check out the U.S. aid to Nigeria.
Yeah, you guys are on permanent welfare and we just
If you
kicked
guys
you
are so
off.
right about yourself, why are you shutting me down? If you're saying the truth,
Because
why are you
because
bent on
to
shutting me
be
down?
honest, to be
Sir,
honest, I don't like
yeah, yeah, and
raising up your voice. You're
yeah,
being
yeah, and
annoying.
he's this is scamming right here. He's gaslighting. Sir, we're putting information in the jumbotron. We're spitting statistics that are scholarly. You haven't done that. You've been at the Nasheed song about I whine, I grind, I cry for you, nigga. Like that's what you're doing. I want some
you know what
scholarship.
though? You know what's crazy? Say if so. If they richer, right? They feel they nation is richer than us, 13-14% of us in America. Look how long it took for them to become that close to us. Now, your
And bro,
ancestors
they ain't even
so-called,
that close yet after all that time though. They ain't even
yeah,
that close. They
but
GDP it ain't even a fraction of ours. And as a
they so
group, we
quick
are
to say
1.2. Right.
we part of them, we part of them, this and that, right? So now we became this own person, our own group of people, and went through the struggle of y'all so-called saying we're part of y'all, but y'all just sold us, let us go or whatever, and we became so powerful. Like, how can y'all make that make sense to me? I don't get it.
I'm
Hell
gonna
no,
make
he
it
said,
make.
oh, go ahead, Professor. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yes, no, you good, brother, and much love. You just said it, brother. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to see. That's what it was. He is probably more allegedly is part of that class of Nigerians and Beninians who sold our ass. And what he was eating him alive is he's looking at all these successful black scholars.
Yes,
We got
exactly.
attorneys, we got professors and shit up here. We got business owners, we got fucking all of us are successful. And he looking at them like, no, I sold you, nigga. You're not supposed to be doing better than my country.
Exactly.
It's eating him alive. That's why he's here.
Yeah. And as y'all can
It's
see,
hurting
ladies and
them.
gentlemen,
It's
I
hurting
put
them.
in the purple pill. This motherfucker looked like Orpheus, an African Matrix character. So he got to do two downloads to get inside the Matrix. Look at that nigga
Oh
forehead.
my
He got to
God.
download his body and then download the forehead to get in the Matrix. So this nigga got the
Is
nerve to
that
come over
true?
here and talk about us. Man, take your old musty mouth ass back on to Nigeria and talk about you better than black Americans. Nigga, shut the fuck up. And then, first of all, I'm sorry, I didn't introduce,
Oh
say my
God,
hi.
bro.
How you doing, Professor? What's going on, my brother? I
What's up,
appreciate your
brother?
Yes, peace
scholarship.
out.
How you doing, Dr. Sister Wani? I love you. You know, and this old musty mouth motherfucker. Look, I bet you need to go download some zebra ball soup, do some goddamn research. I wonder why you're an engineer. You trying to get that big ass forehead inside the matrix, nigga. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
He's engineering a scam.
Can I
Right, he
reply?
engineering a
I'm being
straight
attacked.
scam.
Can I reply?
No, nigga, shut the fuck up.
Can I
I don't
Shut
know.
the
reply?
I
fuck
Cause
up.
think
you
I
Nigga, get
might
some
be
know,
African
attacking
Oh, you
tendencies
want
out
me
of
to
Hell
here,
be
no,
nigga.
you
quiet
can't
Real
while I
shit.
reply.
get
Shut your
and you
attacked?
dumb
can't come
ass
in the
up.
Okay.
chat talking about
Shut
Okay.
your
enriching and
motherfucking
Welcome
everybody.
ass
to the
up.
You
You
sound
FBA
can't
stage.
reply.
stupid. You sound stupid. You don't know what we got.
Then
How
allow
the
me
fuck
talk.
you bum
Hey,
ass
Why are you
talking
scared of
about
me
you
talking?
sound richer than
hey,
us?
niggas, please
Nigga,
let me talk.
the professor gave you the
Please,
chance to
nigga,
talk. You still
please.
didn't talk.
Please
Niggas,
let
please
me
let me
say
talk.
something.
may I be
Let me
heard,
say
please.
something.
Richer than us.
Please, let me
Motherfucker, you
say.
don't know what we got.
Hey,
He
hell
does have
no.
a bigger
Hey,
forehead than
right,
us,
right. That
though.
nigga, look at his hairline.
Ladies and
Look at
gentlemen,
it.
Pistachio shell head ass
l-
little boy.
That nigga forehead look like a ton of
I'm being
bricks.
muted
You
again.
got a
Oh
Where
God of
forehead.
did you
You ain't
mercy.
get
even
this
got a
hair?
forehead. That
Oh
nigga
God
Could
of
you
forehead
mercy.
look
explain
like an
to us
African speedboat.
how?
That nigga look like he got kicked by 10
Now,
wildebeest. Look at that nigga forehead. God
He's trying to
damn.
he trying to
That
engineer new
nigga
headquarters.
hairline. He trying to engineer a new
Can you
hairline,
guys
nigga.
allow me to speak?
Nigga, shut the fuck up.
That
We
nigga
ain't
got a
done yet.
Toyota Prius bumper head. God damn it.
Hell
Okay,
no,
let me
that
say
nigga
this real
head look like
quick.
the front of a Volkswagen,
Can I
nigga.
say this
Hell
real
no.
quick? Okay. The brother
Nigga, the
talking
front of your
about
head look like the front of a Volvo, nigga.
oh,
Shut the fuck up.
oh God of mercy. Bro, we had enough
Listen,
of
you
what you're
don't know
saying.
what we got,
Can
so
you
you can't talk
can you
and say you
hold
got
on?
more money than all of us.
Of
How you
course.
can
It's
even
obvious.
say that? You sound dumb.
But it's
That's
obvious
why the
though.
Listen,
African women
this
love
is your
FBAs,
tribe.
man. We
You
coming to
think
take
It's
all
you
these
got,
obvious.
African
you think
women.
you're
Y'all over
more
there.
than everybody
Right.
else.
They do. And they do. That's why they over there fucking zebras and shit, man. These motherfuckers.
Bruh, okay, here we go to the bullshit talk. Fucking zebras. Here we go to the bullshit talk.
Fucking dogs and
Here we go to
emu
the
and
bullshit
shit.
talk.
Y'all are
All
fucking
right.
disgraceful.
He's high.
African descendants all over the world.
He's hijacked this stage enough. We're gonna get a couple more speakers, and then I got summoned to bed. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
love you though,
let's
Professor.
go
Love you, Sister
because
Wani.
I
Brother
cannot
Scholar, Brother
laugh.
Macau, love y'all. Agent Zero, you know, my nigga Lance. I see all the FBA families, Brother Art, love y'all. But yeah, you know, let's keep dropping these out and delineating from these musty motherfuckers. Talking about I am richer than you, nigga.
and
I have a degree. Fuck you,
Don't get
nigga.
emotional. The truth
hey,
is the
and
truth.
I
sounding
went
like
to
this.
college.
Don't get emotional.
Don't get emotional. The
Don't get
truth is the truth.
emotional.
Look,
The
you
truth is the truth.
FBAs. Fuck you,
It can't
FBAs.
be the
I
truth
tell
if you
you
can't
nothing but the
pronounce
truth,
truth.
I
nigga.
tell you the truth, nigga. Listen to me.
We get
Listen to
money
me. I
over
go to
here, baby.
college.
We
I go
get
to a
money.
college.
Listen
We
to
get
me, nigga.
money
I
over
know the
here.
truth, nigga.
We get really money for
Hey,
real.
no, we
We
follow
get money
Rafiki,
over
man.
here.
Rafiki know the way, man. We don't fuck with you, bro. You know, talk about you coming in here talking that nonsense. We're Rafiki the monkey. I'd rather listen to him. And you ain't even from Burkina Faso. So you a sucker. You a coward. You know what I'm saying? If you were from Burkina
Oh,
Faso or something, we could actually have a good conversation with some soldiers, some warriors. But your musty mouth ass ain't even one of them. So shut the fuck up while you on the stage,
you have no
bitch.
picture on your DP and you're talking about being musty? Can you
Your
post your
bitch,
picture? Let's
got my
compare.
picture. Your
Shut
bitch
your
got my picture.
Can we
Morpheus
compare
Yo,
my
I can get
Matrix
picture
your
and your
looking
motherfucking
picture
picture.
and
ass
see
up,
who's
Nigga,
nigga.
you
better
don't
Shut
look
the
like
looking?
nothing
fuck
you
like
look
me.
up.
like an
Hey,
alien.
Can
nigga,
you
you
Yo,
post
ain't
your
we
even,
picture
get
and let's see
money
who's
for
better
hey,
real,
looking
bro.
bro.
between
What I
You
us?
look like,
fucking
nigga.
clown.
Ask your bitch what I look like, nigga.
You
Your bitch know
you
what I
you're
look
not
like,
bold
nigga.
enough to
So
post
fuck you,
yourself,
nigga. Shut
and
your
you
Yo,
musty
come
you
mouth
here
sound
ass
hiding
up, nigga.
behind your
stupid.
screen to talk
I
shit.
will slap you with this
Post your
big
picture.
ass
Let's see what you look like,
FBA.
motherfucker.
Nobody in
Post
their
your
Shut your
right
picture.
broke
mind
fucking
would
ass
give
up,
birth
nigga.
to your child with that big ass head.
Yeah, well, I'm
Oh yeah,
not
I'm on
gonna
the right.
tolerate.
This motherfucker talking crazy to me, man.
I'm gonna give Mr. C 10 seconds to close, and we'll move on because we were gonna close the space shortly because I want to hear his conclusion.
Close
Uh,
what? What did he ever
Hell
say?
no, Professor. Let that nigga get some more passports on his rap
He
and get the fuck
didn't
out of
say
here.
Oh
Get the
God
nothing.
of
fuck out
mercy,
of here, bro.
Professor,
Get some
what's
more
going on
passports
here?
on
Why
his
are they
rap
scared
and
of
get
me
the fuck out of
talking?
Oh
here, bro.
God,
Why are
Sorry.
they
what
scared of me
He
God.
don't
talking?
deserve. He
but
don't
because you
deserve
sound
to
like this,
reiterate nothing.
No, they're scared of hearing the truth.
We have triggered
All
our
right, bro.
you
roast
You got
sound just
30
like
seconds.
this.
Let's hear
Why?
your truth,
genetics.
man. Let's hear your goddamn musty ass truth. What the fuck
You
you gotta
say we
say?
scared of hearing the truth every time bro gave you a chance to talk, nigga. You never
never said
Didn't say a
nothing. You're so
goddamn
stupid,
thing.
Black
You was
American.
listening.
Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Relax, relax. You're civilized. In conclusion, what I want to say is, you guys need to do a lot of work on yourselves.
Oh no,
You're
you
not
got.
richer. You're not richer than us.
Shut your
Nope,
stupid
nope.
ass up,
Look,
bitch ass nigga. Go back to
I
your
removed
country
his
and work on
ass.
your homeland, nigga. What the
No,
fuck?
but you said you got more money
You
than all
sound
of
so
us.
funny.
You said you got
You need to
Go work on
fucking
yourself,
work on
nigga.
delineating
Go
to your
work on
people, nigga.
yourself.
Come on,
Go back
Okay,
bro.
home,
Nigga,
Never
you
stupid
mind.
better
ass
than
nigga.
Nigerian,
let's
nigga.
try to get it
Go
back
work on
together because he
yourself.
triggered everybody's roasting
Triggered
You
everybody.
niggas ain't shit.
You
DNA
niggas
and
over
now
that
he
bitch
can't
wearing
stop
flip
roasting.
flops like y'all in the motherfucking BC before
Right.
Christ, man. Get your
Right.
stupid ass
Oh
on.
Shut
Y'all
this
ain't
Lord.
even got tennis
goddamn
shoes
beer
over there,
chucking
bro.
shit.
Get the fuck on, bro.
Goddamn beer chucking
Go
shit.
figure
Where
out how
Shut
the
up.
fuck y'all
All
people
right,
in
all right.
the
Let's
God,
go
deal with
back.
we
Nike
can't
Let's
stop.
go.
fucking. Go
Oh
get
my
an
God, we
endorsement
can't
deal with
stop.
Nike or
He
something, my
Triggered
nigga.
everybody.
You niggas
Y'all
ain't even
all
got
messed up
fucking
right now. This
traction.
is
You niggas
sad.
can't
and
run, my
where
nigga. Y'all
everything
running on fucking bare feet.
Let's calm down. He triggered every last one of us coming up in here, running away from his goddamn country up there in Canada, talking about we need to get it together. That's the same shit that happened in the Love I Am space of her saying that what'd she say? We need to stop. What did that
Her
lady say?
victim mentality while begging us for money. You broke ass bitch.
Oh shit. That was good shit though, guys. Real no cap. I forgot who was next.
Cut off that US aid. That'll silence them. You go figure out which kind of monkey hips and rice you're gonna be eating.
Oh, monkey hips and rice eating ass.
Yeah, I was next.
Who was I? Go ahead, Ishmael.
Yes.
Domestic Sudanese cat eating ass nigga.
Yeah, salutations, family, and happy Black History Month. Much love to the professor and Wani and Brother Mikhail. Professor Allen, I just purchased that book that you told me about, The Shaping of Black America. It came in the mail, 2 days ago. I got it out. I got it off of a auction site. Paid $500 for it. Worth every penny so far. Worth every penny.
Yes, brother, and be careful with that book because that book is the book he's talking about is by Lerone Bennett and it's disappearing. Well, I taught it. Fuck, I'm gonna say it. I usually protect him, but Lemoyne College. I'm no longer there, and we had a secret collection upstairs of old, ancient. I mean, of not ancient, but sacred. Rare black books. And white scholars would come from white professors would come from far and wide, and the copies of Lerone Bennett's book would disappear. Because I wrote in my book, I cited him heavily because what Lerone has in that book is evidence, is
Professor,
bills
can you
of
put it in the
lading in
Jumbotron?
that
Because I'm at
shit.
work right now and I want to see what that book is. Can you put it in the Jumbotron?
Oh,
Because
no
I want to see
doubt,
what
I
that book
will.
is.
I definitely will in a moment. But long story short, that book talks about it gives you real game on slavery. It says that the slave trade was perfected on white people before they tried it on us. That's what we're dealing with. These people perfected it on themselves before they tried it. And then we up here trying to reason with these people when they perfected the slave trade on their own children. Like if we knew the truth, we would act so different. But while I look for a copy of the book,
Yes.
to put in Jumbotron, you go ahead and Ishmael, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. And salutations to my family, my FBA family out there that's listening today. I'm going to read here from a Black History Reader by Dr. Claude Anderson pertaining to Does Africa Control Its Resources and Who Has More, the FBA or West Africa. So here on page 86, Dr. Claude Anderson says the Berlin Conference, and then he cites the number 1884 to 1885, and then he says, then even beyond, in which European colonial powers identified and took control of the parts of Africa they wanted and colonized the entire continent. Africa is the richest continent on earth. Okay. It is on the verge of economic recolonization. Unfortunately, European powers have been draining the continent of its vital resources for centuries. And now countries from around the world are competing with Europeans to capture and export resources out of Africa. For 50 years, Black Africans have been visible in political leadership of African nations, but they are not in control of their nation's economies. European powers engage African politicians in practicing
comparative economics instead of competitive economics. Here he's going to explain the difference between the two. In comparative economics, African countries would bring raw materials to the marketplace and sell them to European corporations to be processed. Using comparative economics, Europeans process the raw materials, then transform those products into goods which they sell back to African countries at a price quadruple what they paid for the raw materials. This trading practice leaves a balance of trade deficit that African nations cannot close until they borrow money from the World Bank or the IMF, International Monetary Fund.
And brother, I saw that hands on with my own fucking hands in Ghana. Cocoa.
Truth to power. Speak it,
Cocoa.
brother. Speak it.
What you make chocolate out of the cocoa plant.
That's right.
And they got like really good cocoa in Ghana and West Africa. And they have a rule where it's a rule where you can't even take it on a plane. I tried to take it on a plane. They were like, nope, can't take it. But anyway, on the fields out there, the Europeans like fucking dominate the cocoa plant fields. They dominate them.
And then listen,
what brother, we're gonna close the space pretty soon. I'm gonna ask you to land your plane.
I'm gonna land my plane real quick. Now,
and then we'll move on to Rob the Whip after you.
Okay. Now, dealing with this particular type of aspect here, African countries would keep the raw material. So using competitive economics, African countries would keep their raw materials, manufacture consumer products, sell them to Europeans and other nations, and retain the profits of wealth, and thereby prosperous socioeconomically within the African continent. Now, recently, African countries have been overrun, and you guys spoke about this early. They have been overrun by countries like Japan, China, and India, which are all in search of raw materials to supply their country's consumer demands. China is dominating this stuff. Over 79% of the nation's population in Africa, they are dominating it. And this is everywhere, Ghana, Nigeria, and all these other different places that's been mentioned. As far as them having any wealth over us, nope, that's a no, because I just answered that pertaining to that West African question. And I will land my plane there. Thank you, family.
Well, I'm glad he mentioned the Shaping of Black America. It's more expensive than it was when I initially couldn't afford it. It was like $170. But if y'all have the money, it'd be a good investment because it's only doubling in value. White scholars are stealing in it. We think they're destroying it. My librarian friend at a historically Black college told me not only was it disappearing at our historically Black college, but it was disappearing at Howard, all across the country, and it's disappearing in regular libraries. We think it's a conspiracy of people trying to just burn that book and get rid of it because not only does it have evidence of white slavery and evidence of how the Native Americans really was us. It has bills of lading and like sales receipts of slavery in there. Like that book could be used as evidence in a court of law. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all would buy it, if you can afford it, buy it. I can't afford it quite yet. But speaking of books, I cited that book heavily in my book. You can purchase my book where I talk about true Black history. It's a workbook for the family. It has actual works to do in the book. For $25, you get on Our Story Publications. It's in the Jumbotron. Put $25 in. Please put your address. I sent out an order of books today, and if you bought my book a couple of days ago, check Cash App and check the messages. I sent you a message saying please put your address in it, and just go on Cash App and put your address and send your address to me, and I'll send it out. If you want a copy of the book, I have a whole nother stack of copies. So $25 in the Jumbotron. Put your full name and full address with zip code, and I'll send it to you Tuesday when I send the next group out. Also, Onthespotts Cash App is in there. Show some love to our dear sister Wani for her scholarship. We're going to go to Rob the Whip. If you want to talk, put your hand up. I know Jay Stunner was new, but we're going to go to Rob the Whip and Jay Stunner, and I'll give Sco last words.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, brother?
No, man, another day, man. God is great. Life is good. I'm going to hit on the topics real quick. I'm going to land my plane. Um, I talked about it yesterday. Africa, without a doubt, has more resources than any country on the planet because of them getting hit by meteors the way they do, natural resource wise, but they don't have the ability to produce anything out of the resources that they have. So we are Americans. We are Americans, so anything that America produces and whatever America's GDP is, that's what our GDP is. Our spending power as a group, though, is phenomenal. We run circles around Nigeria as far as our spending power, which is why all the countries over there pretty much they want Black Americans, FBAs, to come over there and start spending because the American dollar goes far. So we are Americans. So our gross domestic product is whatever the United States of America's gross domestic product is. So don't separate yourselves from that. I've been all through Africa. I've conducted operations up one side and down the other Africa. I've been there. I know they can't even keep their lights on in most of the countries over there. You know, the water, running water is terrible. They have blackouts from coast to coast. So it's like for that guy to come here and talk that bullshit is what he did. It was bullshit. That's why he left his country because they don't produce anything. They sell everything at a lower price, but they don't really produce anything. So I'm gonna land my plane there.
I appreciate that submission, Rather Whip, and I really love. He's given us rare scholarship. As much as I read, I did not know that the reason why Africa has so many resources is it gets hit by meteors. That makes sense because it's so gigantic. Anybody who's ever flown over the continent of Africa knows how big it is. It's misrepresented on the maps, which is another form of psychological warfare initiated by Europeans. Europeans make Europe look huge on the map. Europe is tiny. And furthermore, Europe is not no goddamn continent. Europe is an archipelago. Europe is not a continent by their own definition. Somebody look up continent, then look at Europe and tell me if that's a fucking continent. Anyway, I see a new person coming up. We're going to go with Diani, and then we'll go to Jay Stunner. Go, Diani.
Peace and blessings to the room.
Okay. Diani, where are you from? You don't mind me asking, brother?
I'm from Africa. I'm on the continent.
Which one? Which part? See, Africa is not a continent. Like, identify the country, my friend. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Africa is not a country, is what I meant to say. It slipped and said Africa is a continent, is not a country. Identify your country, sir.
Okay, South Africa.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Okay, so just speaking to the title of the room, Africa has more wealth than FBAs because FBAs have no resources.
No, you don't. You don't have any resources.
FBAs have no resources.
Why do you say that? This country has oil and gold. We don't have resources.
FBAs are on their own. If you're speaking to the
You
title
don't
of
have
the
any
room,
money. You don't have
if
diamond
you're speaking
mines.
to the,
Elon Musk has your shit. What are we talking about? You don't have shit. What are you talking? You don't own the land.
Sister Wani, I just
Y'all
went to
don't
this
even
man's
control
profile.
your
He is in
own
front of
fucking
somebody
land.
contain.
else.
They don't
He
own
is
the
in front of
land.
somebody else's yard using the internet. Don't even get mad at him. He is in front of somebody else's yard using the internet, Sister Wani. Look at that forehead. He had to go find somebody's front yard to use the internet to get
I
mad at
bet.
somebody. So don't go too
Ladies,
hard.
They're really sitting there believing that I believe they control all the diamond mines.
they can't fuck with us because we debunk their argument so fast. Anybody who has access to Google, look up Cecil Rhodes since he's from South Africa. Cecil Rhodes controlled
Shit. Professor, you said Google. He might have to walk down the street to get
to the
Google.
to the to the internet
Mr.
cafe.
African man. Right. To the African using his neighbor's internet, probably a white man. Walk down the street and see if you can use Google search.
Yeah, I look up Cecil Rhodes and you'll see that a white man controlled their whole diamond mines. Like, come on with that.
I apologize. Cecil Rhodes
Rhodes
died
Yeah,
Scholar.
hundreds of years
him.
ago. Cecil Rhodes is the equivalent of George Washington.
What
For your
do
Rhodes
the
information,
Scholar.
black Africans own in South Africa?
They don't
If you
even
want to
own any of the
compare,
land.
you
so
trying to
Cecil
compare,
Rhodes
you trying
died
to
over
compare
400 years
your
ago.
South
So
Africa, the whole
let me
South
give you that
Africa
scholarship, right?
to Black Americans.
Nigga,
What do
Cecil
y'all
Rose is
own?
the equivalent to
What do
fucking
y'all
Kanye
own?
West. The fuck?
No, you're wrong. He's Zimbabwe was
They
called
don't own
Rhodesia,
shit. Don't try to
named
act
after
like y'all
Cecil
Nigga,
learned
Rhodes.
Cecil
shit
Rose
now
is the
because
equivalent
we
to
put the
motherfucking
cape on
Wyclef
and
Jean,
made
nigga.
y'all look. Made South
You
Africa
do know
look
Cecil
bad.
Rhodes is
Now
not
South
alive, right?
Africa looking big due to the fact from Foundation Black Americans. Putting the
Guys,
cape
you
on,
just voted
talking,
in the
bigging up
DA.
everything, bigging up everybody all around the world. Y'all sold us. If y'all want to look at us and say we Africans, okay? So
If we
y'all
sold
sold
you,
us and y'all turned y'all back on us and never looked back. And we built up this whole shit of America and we built
excuse
it
me,
up.
sir,
Now
I'm
y'all want
I'm 20 years
y'all
old.
now
When
y'all
did I
want to
sell you?
claim everything. Oh, black.
20
Oh,
years
we
old. When
all
did I
black
sell you,
now. We
sir?
all black American. Get out of here.
Chill out.
It's all good. He just hating. That's all.
So going to the title of the room, resources replenish themselves over time. So over the next hundred
Hold on,
thousands of years,
hold on. What this dude talking about? That's not true. Certain
Nothing.
what is he talking about? Certain
He's
resources
still
are.
third grade.
name one resource.
Oh,
Name one resource that has ever ran out in anywhere in the world. Name one resource.
oh man, I'm not gonna.
Non-renewable resources, third grade.
Like, yeah, dude, these people are like, they act dumb. Dude, have a nice day. Bye. I ain't got time to argue with somebody to say something that stupid. Um, let's see, who is let's see. I got a new speaker. I'm gonna let you talk for a second. I'm curious to see what he got to say. Let's see what my tech has to say on our issues. My tech, what's on your mind? My tech, what's on your mind?
I don't even know. I just joined there. I'm just chilling, vibing. I'm
Okay,
just
so
wondering what.
Bye.
let me
I
give
kicked
a
him out just that fast.
hold on. I'd
Okay.
like to give a it says despite making up 80% of the population, Black South Africans only own a fraction of agricultural land, less than 8%. Um, oh, so the white majority still owns the land. So,
Wow.
yeah, this
Same
is
in
why
Namibia.
they can't,
Same in,
they can't,
same in, oh, sorry, I didn't mean- Same in Namibia and Zimbabwe, too.
Wow.
yeah,
That
I mean, they don't control the land. They keep trying to act like they actually physically own diamond mines. But if I'm sitting on, land with oil wells, I don't own those. So it doesn't make any sense. None of us owns the stuff on the land unless it's on our land, unless it's on our property. So it doesn't even matter if they're walking on gold. In fact, I was watching a documentary where a indigenous African, if you want to call them that, was kicking this big boulder around. It's like, oh, this thing is in the way. Get this out of the way. It was worth millions of dollars, but he doesn't know it. And some, white person's just going to come along and go, Yahoo, and run down the street with it.
right. And then that same dude gonna get on a plane and come to fucking Atlanta and look at me and say, nigga, you don't know your history.
Right. Exactly. That's.
These guys voted in the
Man.
DA
And
so
what
that
they
they
don't
could take over and
realize is
apartheid them again. Like, what the heck?
our foundation of black Akon couldn't even fucking do. He couldn't even complete what he wanted to do for that for the country he's
Right.
representing.
He built one office
He couldn't
with $100
even
million,
complete
built
his
one
shit.
office.
One dude, bro. So 50 Cent. We got multiple people that we can name that's foundational descendants. Like we got multiple that we can name that's successful with their business adventures.
Well,
Like, come on, bro. You
hold on.
motherfuckers can't compare
Can we
Scooby,
stop
like
screaming,
calm down.
please? Okay.
We're gonna go to Jay Stunner. He's been waiting patiently, and I'll go ahead and give let's see, Heaven last words. Go ahead, Jay Stunner.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing tonight?
What's up?
So I was saying I've been to Africa about two times. I've been to Egypt and I've been to Ethiopia twice. First time I've been to Ethiopia was 2011, and I've noticed that when I was there, the streets weren't paved. They didn't have street signs. They didn't have street lights. The infrastructure was really bad. When I came back about 5 years later, the Chinese invested a lot. So now, some of the streets were paved. They had a subway system going on. Um, they have resources, so they do grow food, but they sell that food to other countries while their people really doesn't have any money, and the people practically starve. And so I've never seen poverty in my life before until I went to Ethiopia. And when you see kids selling things on the street, it's very disparaging. One little boy was begging for food, and Ethiopian guy hit him in the head with the rock, and he was crying, but he was still begging for food because he was so hungry. And so, I think they do have their resources, but they just allocate it to other places. Like Zimbabwe, they had a loan that they defaulted on with the Chinese, and so they had to end up giving up their airport to the Chinese because they defaulted on their loan. And so, I do think they have like their resources, but they do bad businesses, they do bad deals, they know they can't pay back, so they end up giving it away. Now, like Nigeria, it has oil, but I never been to Nigeria. I never felt like I wanted to go to the west coast of Africa because I felt like in Ghana they got that Amina Castle, the door no return, and I felt like it's disrespectful for them to make money off of what we went through of our plight, and then they don't give anything back to us for what we had to went through. And over there they have so many different tribes. It's the divide and conquer of their tribalism is why they can't really get in control of their resources because they're still fighting over, which tribe is which and who's who. And, it's a different cultures and different languages and, different religions. And I think that we got more money than them because our dollar worth is worth more than what their currency is worth. So even if you do have, let's say they have a million naira or whatever they might have, compare that to $1 million, our dollar is more stronger. Our dollar is going to carry more. And so, like, even in Ethiopia, I had the dollar and I had their money, which is the better, but they didn't want to use the better. They wanted to use the dollar. Even though I can have the same amount of butter compared to dollars, it's more of a social status to say, hey, I got a dollar. So I just want to land my plane with that. I just want to put my 2 cents in.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to clarify, we have
Appreciate it.
way, 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 way more money than Nigeria, West Africa, and the equal to sub-Saharan Africa. I mean, we just have way more money than them. There's
That's a
just no
fact.
way around it.
And we Black Americans have been taught to be humble and not really speak out, but we're way more. I don't like the word educated because it's relative, it's arrogant, but we have way more professionals than licensed professionals than from accredited schools. Thank you.
And
You know,
that's based on the GDP
right?
of just us, not America,
Hey, Professor,
just us.
Professor,
We're,
touched
sorry to
on
say I
something.
got hired to do some PhDs for some Africans before, so sorry about that.
Fire Naked Maker. You had a question right quick,
No, real quick, he touched on something I just didn't think of, the Belt and Road Initiative. Basically, what that is the Chinese are taking everybody's stuff. They're building up Africa and they're taking their stuff. And I just
right?
didn't even think about that. He just touched on that.
Dude, when I was in Ghana, we went to the mall where I got called a Nakata. I was trying to get this dumbass a couple thousand CDs because I didn't want to take them on the plane with me. You know what I'm saying? You can't spend CDs in America. That's a currency. So I walked in a store with some nice stuff, me and my lady, and we're just gonna spend all that fucking money there because we had a flight to catch. I walked up in that bitch, lady said, Akata. I was like, well, fuck you. I'm not spending my money here, dummy. Fuck, they dumb, man.
And they're too stupid to hide their ethnic bigotry.
They too stupid to get my money. Get the money from
Wow,
Nakata
that is
first,
stupid.
please.
Wow.
Dumb broad. I ended up taking that shit back to the States with me. Now I got a a pouch full of money I can't spend. Um anyway, let's see what Heaven says. Heaven, what you got to say?
Um, I just have a question though. From
Yeah, I
what you
saw thumbs down. Where you from, Heaven?
I'm from Nigeria.
Oh Lord.
Ah, shit.
So
Can I
quick. Hold on,
can
hold
I
on,
Again.
hold
ask a
on, hold on, hold
question?
on, hold on. Quick question before the stage gets triggered. But the world is triggered by Nigerians. Wani, isn't it an issue with Nigerian passports going on right now?
Yeah, they don't like
They're
them.
landlocked. They got booted. Yep. They got. They cannot travel to
They,
America.
they, the world is triggered by y'all. But anyway, brother, where are you right now? Where are you living?
Nigeria,
What town?
Abuja.
I don't believe that. But
Okay,
anyway, go
that's
ahead.
great. I'll take it. Stay over there. Thank you.
Okay, so
Go
I have
ahead,
a
man.
yeah. Thank you so much. I have a question.
All right.
Why? My question is why are the FBA all up in our business? Every day is Africa,
We like
Africa,
it's
Africa. Why is
fun.
that? If you're not
We're trying
important,
to
why do you
get
guys
you
talk about us in every space? It's
because
like
we like
you're
it. It's
all up in our
fun.
business.
We're
And
What's
he's
up?
in your business.
and he says that on our stage.
Because your topic is Africa.
First off,
Tomorrow is
sir, we
Africa.
don't give
Every
a
day is
fuck about
Africa.
you.
What's wrong?
Second of
Are you guys
all,
obeyed with
it's not just
Africans or
Africa.
what?
You motherfuckers send y'all little fake ass
I
politicians
asked
and
a question. I
undermining
asked a question. No
individuals.
one is
I'm trying to
answering me.
explain. Shut your musty ass
Nah,
mouth.
you keep
Shut
quiet
your
when I'm
musty
talking.
ass mouth and let
You
me
keep
let
quiet
me.
when I'm
I'm trying
talking.
to
Let them
I'm
explain.
cook,
asking
nigga.
the
I'm
whole
trying
You
to
keep
explain to
question.
quiet,
you, you
nigga.
musty
Let them cook.
motherfucker.
You have no right.
Second of all, y'all bring
You
y'all
don't talk when I talk.
tribalism over
You
We're
here.
keep
not.
quiet.
I
We're
talk
not
Shut
whenever
your
the
doing
fuck I
bitch
that.
want to
ass
talk.
up, nigga. Who the fuck is
You
you to
keep
tell
quiet.
I
somebody
talk
don't
whenever the
talk,
fuck I
nigga?
want to
Shut
talk.
your
Now,
bitch
You
second
don't.
of
ass up,
all,
nigga.
y'all bring that tribalism over here.
Keep
We don't
quiet
get
when I
down like
talk.
that, okay? We are.
You keep
Oh
quiet,
yeah,
bitch. Shut up,
I
sister,
nigga.
I
go
You
ahead,
kick
being
sister.
too big
I
mad,
kicked
nigga.
this little
Yeah,
I
Motherfucker.
kicked
this
his
is not
little
going to
musty
work today.
disrespectful ass off my stage. So
We
Yeah,
just can't deal with
disrespectful
it today. We
motherfucker.
have to get,
Fucking tell them.
we're going to have to be tranquilized the next time one comes up because it's just not working out tonight.
no, I'm not dealing.
No, I just say we. I just say we just if they from Nigeria, if they ain't from a warrior country from that side of the map, let's just roast their ass and kick them off the stage. They don't get no goddamn rebuttal, nothing. Fuck them. You know, if
Exactly.
they say
They shouldn't
if they
have
don't say
no
any warrior, yeah, no breathing room in this bitch. You know, they
nothing.
get to say their name, where they from, and then we get to roast them and kick them out. No rebuttal.
Just like brother Tyreek do. If you're not gonna announce your lineage and your fucking what your tribe of America, nigga, get the fuck out of here. Your value is no value, nigga. You don't have no words.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Welson has last words, and then we'll close the space.
Hey, Sister
Hey,
Wilson.
Welson, what's up?
Oh boy, I didn't know I had the last words. I've got some big shoes.
No, it's fine.
Hi, Wani. Hi, Professor. Hi, everybody.
No,
Hi.
we were just shooting
How are
musty
you?
Africans. We were just shooting
Oh,
musty
yeah.
Good.
Africans.
How you doing?
No, I wanted
How
to
you doing,
I
sister?
wanted to say this, and that this is what I don't understand. Is there was an article in last September, 2024, from UNICEF that reported that in Nigeria alone, they estimate 40 million Nigerians that practice open defecation on the street. 40 million. That's an article, and I'll put it in, or I'll just link it maybe on mine so people can see it.
That's why they be feeling like
And
diarrhea and
and
cologne.
so, my question would be for them is just like, if they have these wealthy people in their country, why aren't they building a sewer system so that their people don't have to do it, or maybe just like public bathrooms that people can use and not practice open defecation?
Banks of bathrooms. That's right.
Yes, yes, on the street. I mean, I've never understood that, and I'm not trying to be funny or anything like that. Like, my question is really, honestly, UNICEF is a reputable, entity, and the 40 million. Can you imagine? 40 million of them practice open defecation on the street in their country, and this all this brain power and what the guy says. They have money, they have wealthy people. Then why aren't they getting together to do that? You know what I mean? It's just amazing to me.
Uh, Sister Wilson, can I give you a quick rebuttal to
Yes,
that
sir.
hypothesis you just
Yes,
established?
sir.
Just a happy Black History Month to you, sister.
Absolutely.
And I
Happy
love your
Black
work.
History
You know,
Month.
I
No, no,
hope the
no.
Lord
Happy
continue to
Black
bless you.
American History Month, because you don't want anybody else
There it is.
putting in their
There it is. There it
red,
is.
black, and green in it. So that's a happy Black American History Month. Go ahead, honey.
Well, see, I'm gonna just say the reason why they didn't build toilets and a sewer system and a functional plumbing system in their country is every little resource they get, they want to compare themselves to the white folks. So they say, well, shit, white people got toilets, white people got running water, white people got this, while they sitting there shitting on each other, smelling like dirt turds and dirt cookies and shit. They want to compare themselves instead of them coming over here smelling like, regular humans. They rather smell like wildebeest shit.
It just
Yeah,
never, I just never, India is another country that they reported, but I mean, and then is Nigeria one of the, especially for natural resources, aren't they one of the leading countries as far as oil is concerned?
yeah, I think they have a lot of oil, but
So,
France or some shit's using it.
so you wonder, like, what?
They're an OPEC.
Okay, so but you wonder, what? Why do they allow that to happen to their people? And because what that does is, can you imagine the diseases?
You know what?
That
I'm not
alone.
gonna. I don't mean to interrupt, but I have to say this. They doing good. They doing better from all the years that went on and went on. I get it. They definitely doing better. They are. Africa, but now you got a lot of bullshit going on, and they trying to come at us and disrespect us now while they doing better. You don't do that to your own peoples. If you say we from the motherland, you want to help us and big up over here as well because y'all starting to do better. So don't come when y'all start progressing in your infrastructure. Everything is starting to look better now. Buildings is growing. Don't
Well, well,
don't
the,
come
well,
at us.
the thing is, if you look, the history will erase the mystery, like Professor James Small says. And if you look at the history, like I've been reading the whole time out of Dr. Claude Anderson's book, they have a history of trying to impress that European, even when the European was starving.
Mm,
I don't know what it was, but it was something about that European that they wanted to show off,
mm.
and they're still doing it. Now that their resources are already compromised, what's the best way for them to show off to the European? The best way for them to show off to the European is to come at us, be diametrically opposed to us.
You know
They're
what,
seeking
Professor?
approval.
I don't know if it
Professor
was you.
Align, Professor
I don't
Align,
know if
I
it was
want you to
you.
tell.
Hold on. Go ahead, Wellesley.
I
Wellesley had
said, I
last
don't know
word.
if it was you or Wani that said something the other day. And I thought about it and I said, thank God, because let me tell you something. They would be a force to be reckoned with. One of you guys said that, Africans exercise ethnic bigotry, and that they hate Black people so much, but they don't have the power structure to exercise that hate. Could you imagine if they did? Could you
Oh my, yeah.
imagine? I was told by a very nice person, she's on point. She's from Ghana. And she said to me, she said that the problem with Black American people is that they just don't understand how deep African people's um their they have this they have white people as idols, like their god. She goes, Black American people, the problem is that they don't understand how deep seated that is. It is, she said, it is so deep. And she says the problem with Black American people is that they don't understand how deep it is. They think they know, but they don't. And then I thought about that, and then like one of you said that about ethnic bigotry, and if they were to exercise the hate towards Black American people, if they had the financial power to do it, it would be unimaginable the kind of hate that they would wield against Black American people and other people of other Black people of the diaspora.
Wellesley, and they would treat. Wani, you had something.
No, I had a question. Where would they exercise that power, that hatred at? Like
What?
on their continent over here? I just, even if they had the resources to do it, where would they be able to exercise that at? Because I think you could give them all the money in the world. They can't come here and fight us, and we wouldn't go over there. So
They would find a way. I mean, because if you look back at they would do to us. Power is a funny thing; it's relative. So if you look at certain groups of Africans, how do they, Wani? How do they treat each other? And what were you telling me about the cutting each other's arms off and stuff? Where is? I don't want to speak ignorantly. Where is that?
Yeah, in the Congo, when they were saying that King Leopold was doing these things and it was really them, yeah, they like the Fulani herdsmen just you know go down there and cut off whoever's head is not Fulani.
Yeah. So
So that's what they would do if they, that's how they solve problems.
yeah, and if they had the power to do that, I mean, it's just common sense. People do like the European. The European enslaved each other, they raped each other, and when they got power over us, what did they do? They enslaved my great great grandmama and raped her.
Now, I wanted to say something about open defecation that I don't think most people know. When we're little, we're potty trained, right? You got to learn how to hold it till you get to the toilet. That's something that our mommies and daddies teach us. Everybody doesn't learn that. So some places you go, the moment they have to go to the bathroom, "Oh, I'm going to the bathroom. That's it. This is why when
No
Chinese
matter where I
people,
am.
correct. This is why when Chinese people travel, they just start squatting down in the street and they have to put signs up that says don't do that. They are rural,
mm,
but they go over to Hong Kong and some of the other Chinese, I mean some the other Asian countries, Singapore, and they do this, and these people from Singapore don't roll like that. People in Hong Kong are potty trained, and they will walk around with their child. They have like a flap on the back of the child's outfit, and they just boop, pull their pants down. They don't even have a diaper on. Just pull their pants down and they just squat. So that's what we're dealing with. And that's why one thing I will say, I have not seen Nigerians who do travel a lot now. They've raised their travel, profile. I haven't heard them doing anything obscene like Chinese people, though. So I guess they're potty trained, but some of their tribes in these countries are not potty trained, and certain Asians are not potty trained. So there's going to be open defecation even if you give them a toilet, because they're going to be like, I'm not going to go. I don't know how to wait to go to the toilet. They're not going to do it. But we have been trained on long car rides, on long subways and stuff. They haven't. So if you keep bringing people like that over here that are not potty trained, that's what you're going to get.
remember,
I just
Wani,
wanted
the
to
Nigerians
let you know
travel
that
on
I
multiple
put the
passports.
article in the thing for anybody who wants to see it. I put the
Okay.
article in there. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting me talk. Good night.
Appreciate it, Welsing.
Fire,
Well,
what were you saying?
Oh, I said the Nigerians tend to travel on multiple passports. So, we don't know what they're doing. They might be
That's
traveling with a
true.
British passport or a US passport.
right on. Well, I enjoyed y'all tonight. I learned a lot. It got a little heated, but what I won't do, I try to keep things scholarly and stay away from the back and forth. But I've lost, I'm human, and I've lost my tolerance from West Africans coming in here telling us, wagging their goddamn finger at me. I've been all over West Africa. I saw how much help they need and how much aid that our scholars, professors, and philanthropists give to them. They don't get to come over here and wag their goddamn finger at my people. So forgive me for being a little out of character today. Nikki, it's good to see you. Let me let Nikki up here if she had any last words. Nikki, did you have any last words, love? I just sent you co-host. You there, Nikki?
I am now. Peace,
Okay.
everybody. I'm
I
on my
want.
way home from work. Peace, everybody. Peace,
It's good to
Wani.
see.
Peace, Professor.
Hey, Sister
Peace,
Nikki.
y'all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Wanda, you had any last words?
Good night.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you need a copy of my book, Our Story Publications in the Jumbotron, $25. Put your full address and name in the Cash App. If you bought a book yesterday, look at Cash App, because I had sent in a couple of you, about 3 of you didn't put your address. So just go ahead and put your address, send it to me, and I'll send out a book. I had a blast tonight.
Professor, you said mine on the way, Professor?
Yes, sir. I'm pretty sure it is.
I
If you put
appreciate you, brother. I
if you
appreciate
put your address, it's on the way.
I appreciate
Appreciate you too, and I will see y'all tomorrow with another topic. I enjoyed y'all. Tonight was hilarious and educational. Peace out.